Hello, everybody. Welcome to October. I hope you all are ready for a very spooky time. It's been a while, but we are finally continuing with Higurashi When They Cry. We're going to start Chapter 3, Tatarigoroshi tonight. I think that's how you pronounce it. How's everybody doing? Hello, X-Dude. Hello, Proxima. It's great to see you both tonight. Welcome. Welcome. Things are going to get quite interesting, I do believe. I mean, this visual novel is always interesting. It'll be interesting to see where they take it in this chapter. Apparently, Satoko is going to become a bigger character if her appearance as the icon of the game in Steam is anything to go off of. So here we go. Let's boot things up. There we go. That's fair, Proxima. No problem. Ah, Chapter 5's a good one. Yeah. Alright. Here it is, folks. Higurashi When They Cry, once again. You know, I kind of wish that the text that didn't have a background on it was easier to read. But I don't really know how to fix that for OBS. Whoops. Yes, that was the water I drank. So we're starting Chapter 3 of Higurashi When They Cry. I did a little bit of a recap on Chapters 1 and 2 beforehand. So, Chapter 1 was basically Keiichi is in this new small town. He makes good friends. You know, they have a blast. He then learns about the town's creepy past. And basically every year since this damn incident where the foreman got, like, murdered and dismembered, once a year, like somebody gets murdered and somebody disappears, which is kind of weird. And then basically in each of these chapters, it seems like it's similar like setting and characters, but with like one thing different. So like the main difference between chapter 1 and 2 was chapter 1 Shion was not like a thing, and in chapter 2 all of a sudden Mion now has a twin sister named Shion. I'm not sure if Shion is the enigma that she only exists in chapter 2 or if the enigma is she did not exist in chapter 1. But for what it seems like each chapter it's like a parallel universe but with like one thing different. That's kind of what that's my current theory right now, so it'll be interesting to see how Chapter 3 differs in that regard. The other difference is that each chapter it seems like different characters go crazy. So in Chapter 1, it was like Rena and Mion and Keiichi who went crazy, and then in Chapter 2, it was Mion and Shion who went crazy. So it sounds like maybe this time Satoko is gonna go crazy. That's at least what I'm guessing. Uh, yeah, because like chapter 1, Keiichi was suspicious of people keeping secrets from him, and as it turns out, like they were completely insane, and like Rena started stalking him, and then killed him, or no, he killed her and Mion, and then he clawed his own throat out, which is that's not something you want to have. In chapter 2, it was like so main takeaways. There were like the three head families of Hinamizawa. The distant past in like the town. There's like a legend that there were actual demons in the town, and that like the people in the town now are descendants of like humans and demons, which is kind of weird. There was also like a lot of really creepy like ritual torture stuff that happened in the past, apparently. So that was weird. Then it was revealed that like kind of Mion was behind a lot of that at the end. I'm still not convinced it was Mion. I still think it was Shion. It was kind of hinting towards that, since Shion admitted to kidnapping the mayor at one point there. And they also mentioned that like, oh, Shion like fell out of the window of her apartment, but also Mion fell to her death here at like the same time. So it's like, did one of them kill the other? Not really sure. I'm still up in the air, but I still don't trust Shion. I still think she was kind of the mastermind of Chapter 2, not Mion, but I don't know that for sure. Other weird mysteries at the end of Chapter 2, Rena apparently had a syringe on her in her skirt pocket, which was weird before she got like kidnapped and killed by quote-unquote Mion. And the other dead-end, or open-ended thing was that apparently Takano may have faked her death. So I definitely don't trust Takano now. That's, I think, kind of the highlights of the last couple chapters. If I've missed anything or forget something, if I forget something from a previous chapter that I should know, please feel free to remind me. Do not spoil anything I am not supposed to know, though. So, without further ado, let's start. Okay. Ooh. Let's go. Tatarigoroshi, the shortest scenario. Really? The curse-killing chapter. Man, curse, or coincidence? How are the conjectures inside you solidifying? I look forward to whether those conjectures will waver or become a cornerstone in this scenario. The difficulty is the worst. You will probably not even be able to make conjectures. What? So basically they're telling us this is going to be the shortest chapter, but it's also going to be the most confusing. Great. Oh, that's creepy. Also, turn off the lights, everybody. I'm playing in the dark, so should you. The snake in the wall was happy, or in the well was happy, for it did not care what was outside the well. The snake in the well was happy, for it had naught to do with what happened outside the well. And you were happy too, for you did not know what happened outside the well. Frederica Bernkastel. Okay. Hey, GX, welcome. This is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to actual persons or organizations is entirely coincidental. A wink. AD 1983, the early summer of the 58th year of the Showa era. Let's go. It was a very humid day. Not even a slight breeze was blowing. It had been an unpleasant summer, one that wasn't only hot, but swelteringly so. There were various articles of clothing hung out to dry in the messy apartment windows, but the lack of wind evoked an impression far removed from coolness. In fact, it only felt more oppressive. There were crooked houses and apartment buildings lining the narrow, twisting road. In addition, there were planters and flower pots whose contents were beginning to wilt, as well as bicycles and motorcycles on the sides of the road, making it even more cramped, more oppressive, and all the more sweltering. Nobody who was in this place at this time was visiting it voluntarily. But in spite of what everyone might expect, a single motorcycle came rolling in. Oh no, not the motorcycle gang. The lone motorcycle, which wouldn't be called neat even as flattery, pulled up into a two-story apartment complex and stopped there. A man, fairly old and wrinkled, stepped off. "I'm still young enough to ride the motorcycles, kids." When the housewife hanging out the laundry noticed him, she called out.
ほんれ、こんにちは。
"Hey, how's it
今
going?"
日も暑いこって。
しゃあ暑いねえ。こんな暑いとうだっちまってかなわねえよ。
Yeah, we all have days like that.
そうそう、やさん。すったら言わんと思ってた。
ああ、悪い悪い。蛍光灯だったっけ？忘れちったよ。
違うね。ほら、気にならん。
Uh-oh, did someone microwave their trout for lunch again?
嫌な匂いがしとんね。今朝からずっとでかなんわ。
Oh, did somebody microwave their trout for breakfast and just left it in the microwave?
あれ、なんよこれ。
That's right, you recently came back from Japan. Nice. Congratulations, it sounded like a lot of fun. And yeah, I think at least Hinamizawa is based on a real town. It's not called that, so hey, maybe like the outskirts here are also based on real life locations. That's pretty cool.
くっさいねえ。また裏のドブ川が詰まったんかね。
Uh-oh.
おやさん、なんとかしてんよ。
Yeah, landlord, you gotta do it.
朝からこれじゃ鼻がひんまかっちまうね。
そしたら今の美人がもっと美人になっちゃうじゃないのよ。
Are they like together, or is he just being kind of creepy? Guess it's not really important. There was an unhygienic drainage channel running behind the apartment. The lattice from which it flowed was stuffed with branches and fallen leaves, and when filth got caught up in them, it created an awful stench in the summertime.
これ、お役所になんとか言ってんな。こんなドブ川埋めてしまいね、ほんと。
しゃあ、すっかり詰まってるね。こんな棒でちょっとつつけば流れるでよ。
Sticks are so nice. The man crossed the fence over the drainage channel and picked up a filthy drying pole sitting nearby. He must have planned to stick it into the drain and clear it out.
ああ、おやさんやめてな。変にかきませんと、吸ったらもう、すんごい匂いになるね。
つまれば臭い。かき混ぜれば臭い。
You know these two characters are not important because they don't have their own sprites.
どっちにすりゃええんよ。
This guy likes to laugh, like that Mary Poppins song. He shoved the drying pole into the filth in the lattice. Of course, it did nothing to help the accumulation of waste.
キャー
Oh no!
猫の死骸。
No! Oh no, that sucks.
こんなの保健所の仕事やね。
犬猫は死ぬと匂いがすんごいのよ。
Pretty much anything that's dead smells awful.
竹竿じゃどうにもならんな。ゴミ袋に古着にまあいろいろ捨ててあるね。
Uh-oh.
あのアヒルおまるでねえの。
Oh no, not a dead duck.
こりゃ臭いわぎゃ。しょうがないね。ま
I
っ
can't
たく。
believe you would do that. The drainage channel was already unsanitary. What was a little more garbage at this point? The stream of such imprudent people was never ending, and now the channel had turned into a garbage dump. When he poked the pile of old clothes floating in the sewage, a black cloud of smoke floated out in the water. The two of them grimaced at the terribly bizarre and repulsive sight.
うじが湧いとるね。
Oh no, not maggots.
生
Those
ゴミ
suck.
でも放り込んだんかいな。
おやさん、なんねあれ。
なんよ、こんないの捨てたんは。
お
Not 10 minutes in and we have 2 deaths.
それ
Uh-oh.
え
Oh no. Knuckles, can you please look for the Master Emerald pieces somewhere else? What? Was it an actual dead body?
お疲れ様です。
かあ、ひでえ匂いだな。おい、ブルーシー上までちゃんと囲っとけよ。民家の2階から丸見えだぞ。
仏の身元は不明。
Yep, actual dead body.
性別女。年齢は推定20代後半から30代後半。
Uh-oh.
死後2、3日ってところです。おそらく死後に遺棄したんでしょう。
What is this? Why are we getting this music for when we discover a dead body? Like this sounds too upbeat for like we just discovered a rotting corpse in the trash.
まだかか。
Oh, great.
身元を割れるの難航しそうだな。生活課に行方不明者出てないか当たっとけ。
重りをつけて沈められてたんでしょうね。
I hope she was. This is morbid. I hope she was dead before she was thrown in the bag and tossed into the sewer.
それがほどけて浮かんできたんでしょう。しかし、
Well, it's not a bad place to dispose of a body, I guess.
高速道路下とか山奥とか、もっとマシな場所があったでしょうに。
Well, yeah, that's true.
そうすりゃうちの管轄でなくて済んだのにってか。死体隠す気なんか鼻からねえんだよ、この手のは。
Okay, so hang on a second. So this is the fan OST remake. Okay, Interesting. This is the one from 2022? It sounds like exactly the same. That also sounds like exactly the same. Okay, so there's actually just 2 different songs. Honestly, this one, so this family, it replaces the 9 BGM with handmade remakes. Yeah, this is way better music. Advanced options, the new soundtrack, or the, I don't know, again, I don't know what any of these options mean, so I'm gonna go with the one that actually seems to have just better music. Or more fitting, because this definitely fits much better than... Hope it's not Takano. I mean, it could be.
見つかることを前提にした何かへ見せしめってことですかね。
この腹が裂けてるの、魚に食い破られたってわけじゃねえだろ。腹裂いて中身引きずり出してる。
Oh, that's what they do at the weird festival stuff.
相当派手にいじめ殺してんぞ、これ。中国マフィアとかの伝統的な制裁にこういうのあるんじゃねえの？四課のシゲさんに丸棒でトラブルないか当たっとけ。
わかりました。
しかし、ひでえ仏
Yeah,
さんだね。
I wouldn't really want to get cut open and had my insides dragged out as my way of dying.
内臓の覗いてるここの感じ、京屋のサラダそばに似てねえが。
That's disturbing.
ほら、箸でつついたら麺が出てきそうだぞ。ほれ。
Okay. That's disgusting.
勘弁してくださいよ。
超引きずり出されて、耳鼻そぎ落とされて。
Gross.
こういう死に方はしたくねえよな。指がむごいよな。両手両指に五寸釘がびっしり打たれてる。
Oh, yeah, that's literally exactly what quote-unquote Mion tried to do to us at the end of Chapter 2. Where she strapped us to the torture thing and was gonna put a bunch of nails in on our fingers.
どういう拷問だよ、これ。
Well, Higurashi win the cry. Okay. I guess that's a way to open up. I was gonna say, normally, the chapters start fairly lighthearted and then delve into the horror stuff, but maybe not. The most relaxing time during the school day? Lunch, for sure. Okay, this text box is not what it normally is. Where's the text box settings? Text window, that's it! Okay, I was wondering why the text boxes were so weird. Now this is how it used to look. There we go. The most relaxing time during school day? Lunch for sure. Everyone brought their desks side by side, like always, and we all ate together. There they are!
ミオさんのお弁当が今日はなかなか見
Yeah,
事で
you're
ございました
reusing
よ。
CGs. I guess there's nothing wrong with that.
品数がいっぱいで豪華豪華なのです。
Satoko and Rika-chan looked at Mion's lunch, shouting gladly. Let's have a look. Whoa!
夕べの残りをちょっと詰めてきただけだよ。
Hi, Mion. I don't trust you.
うちで昨日村長たちが酒盛りしててさ。
Basically, I feel like each chapter is going to be a different one of the members. So first it was Rena, then Mion, now Satoko, and probably the next one will be Rika. And it's going to be how they each go crazy. That's what I'm guessing.
それで残り物をちょいと取っておいたってわけ。それでお酒のおつまみみたいなおかずが多いんだね。
残り物、つまりは残飯とはいえ、これだけ綺麗に弁当箱に収められてるとなかなかの迫力があるな。
Presentation's important for some people.
高級料亭の懐石弁当みたいだ。
人の印象のほとんどがファーストインプレッションで決まるようにさ。やっぱりお弁当の味も蓋を開けた時の綺麗さに比例するんじゃないかなって。
I'd rather have something that looks like slop but tastes amazing than something that looks nice but doesn't taste good.
ミオンさんってガサツそうな性格に見えて結構こういう盛り付けのセンスがいいんですのよね。お部屋もいつも綺麗に片付いてるし、みーちゃんはみんなが思ってるよりずっと几帳面で丁寧な人なんだよ。
Oh, hang on, I want to check. So if we go back to the new one. Whoops. Which soundtrack is supposed to be, like... Because from what I gather, the soundtracks are kind of polarizing. Oh, that actually sounds different. I don't understand what each of these are, even with all of the... Guess I'll play around with this. I like the sound. I'll just kind of play around and pick what sounds good in the moment, I would say. But there's not as special as they make it out to be. Yeah. I think they're more about the presentation and the novelty of it, is what I get from what I gather. It's all the same once it's in your stomach. Exactly. I'd have thought Mion would say something like that, but to think she had this kind of taste. You can't judge a book by its cover. Mion was careful in everything she did. She never misstepped, faltered, or messed up. I see. She is our club president, after all.
レナのお弁当も見劣らないのです。カニかまぼこのお花がとても綺麗なのですよ。
レナの弁当ってなんていうか、いつも芸が凝ってるよな。
Some people are good at making lunch. What can I say?
リンゴのうさぎさんとか、人参の花びらとかさ。
Oh, she's doing all the fancy, like, YouTube, Instagram stuff. Alright. Rena's bento wasn't all about taste. It was like, like she always puts her heart into it or something. It wasn't just good, it made your insides all nice and warm.
ありがとう。みーちゃんにはちょっと及ばないけど、かわいいかなって。料理は技術じゃなくて愛情でしょ。
It's mostly about texture and taste.
その意味でだったら、私なんか足元にも及ばないって。
Mion cooks with hate. Love, huh? Yeah. Just from looking at her bento, I could definitely feel that Rena put her heart and soul into making it. That's what her bento was like.
お弁当ってのは味だけでなく、見た目も大事ってことですわね。 私たちも見習わないといけませんわね。
おお。で、その見習わなくちゃならない聡子たちの弁当はどう
Keiichi's
だ
is gonna be like, I put rice and meat together. And they're like, well, you know, Keiichi, yours kind of sucks. You have to go and wear a dress now. It's what?
じゃーん。昨日ご近所さんにお裾分けのお肉をもらったので、今日は焼肉弁当なんですってよ。
What's a bento without meat? These ones too. They had such an impact. They were bursting at the seams with grilled meat. That's the one I want. At a glance, it was too impactful for a girl's bento, but when you thought about eating it with all your friends, it brought more than enough color to the table.
へえ、粗雑な体育会系弁当と見せかけて、おかずの品数も結構あるみたいじゃない。
Mion, you can have your dainty little rice bento, and I'll eat steak.
ほうれん草のおひたしとか、ひじきの煮物とか。リカちゃんはこういう気取らない家庭料理がとても上手なんだよね。うん、リカちゃんは将来立派なお嫁さんになれると思うよ。未来の旦那様をわしづかみなのです。
Alright then, Rika. A husband for Rika-chan, huh? At first, that sounded appealing. It did, but I felt like a married life with her would be anything but normal. She's also like 12. So, I'm pretty sure that would be breaking a law somewhere. No worries at all. I mean, hey, if there's ever a time, it's probably now. But really, everyone was amazing. They were all so young, and yet they're all capable of cooking for themselves. I would sort of cook whenever I went camping with my family, but making lunch every day was a level I definitely couldn't reach. I could only really cook in my spare time. When I thought about it like that, it made everyone stand out more. Frankly, I respected them. Huh? I feel like maybe this doesn't only apply to other people. Come to think of it, this morning, when I was eating breakfast half asleep, I think my mom was saying something really important.
Oh.
With a hysteric groan, I suddenly stood up, startling everyone at once.
どうしたのかな。
Uh-oh. Satoku, you gotta lay off the cigarettes,
急
alright?
に大声を出すからむせてしまいましたですわ。さとこのお鼻からご飯粒が出てますです。
Watch out! I'd forgotten. All of this stuff about cooking for yourself, it applied to me too. Earlier.
ケイチ、お父さんとお母さんね、またお仕事で東京に行ってこなくちゃならないの。
そう。はあ、眠。
お父さんの先生にあたる人がね、イベントの直前で倒れちゃったの。
Uh-oh. Looks like Dad Ichi has gotta step up.
とても大切なイベントなんでね、どうしても穴が開けられないのよ。
Oh, yes! Well, Dad does what he has to do for his job.
それでお父さんとお母さん、そのイベントのお手伝いのために大至急東京に行かなくちゃならなくなったの。場合によっては何日か泊まり込みになっちゃうかも。
That sounds annoying.
その間、お母さんたちいないからご飯とかみんな圭一が自炊しなくちゃならないんだけど。
It's okay. We got Stouffer's French bread pizzas, TM, so we're good.
圭一は大丈夫？
大丈夫大丈夫。人間追い詰められたら何でもできるんだから。
そう？なら安心ね。ご飯くらいは炊けるでしょ。お味噌汁も作れるわよね。
Man does not live on rice alone.
あとは適当にお惣菜を買ってくればご飯らしくなるから。
A meal? Yeah. Yeah, I can cook rice with my camping kit. Never used a rice cooker before. It's pretty easy. I've only ever made instant miso soup that you make in a pot of boiling water, too. Well, I'll think of something.
自炊できるなら置いていくお金は少しでいいわよね。外食は高いからしちゃダメよ。圭一もそろそろ自炊と経済観念を学んでもいい頃だからね。
True! Based mom. Yep. I'll get by.
なんとかなるか
His friends are gonna be very confused. What was I thinking? I was half asleep and I made such crazy empty promises? Just like manga characters always do at times like these, I bent over backwards and scratched furiously at my head. Oh no, he's overreacting like an anime character. Yeah.
ふーん。ケイチ君のご両親って大変なんだね。
Your parents have a rough, not you. Suck it up, Keiichi. Your parents have a harder time than you.
ケイチ君、しっかりお留守番をしてなきゃね。
そんなことより飯だ飯。親がいないんだぞ。全部自分で作らなきゃならないんだぞ。
I'm pretty sure Rena does most of the cooking for her family too.
これは超緊急事態だ。
Keiichi, cooking's not even hard.
それなら覚悟を決めて自炊なさればいいではありませんの。
You know what? She's got a point.
ケイチさん、以前のカレーパーティーで見事なカレーを作ってみせたではありません
Keiichi, in the last timeline, didn't you, like, make the worst curry in the world but somehow convinced a bunch of people that it was the best? Just do that for yourself.
あのな、俺に作れるのはデイキャンプでおふくろに教えてもらったカレーがせいぜいなんだよ。3食カレーなんか食えるかよ。
Yes, you can. It's not gonna be fun, but you can.
カレーなんて所詮はジャンクフード。
Curry's not junk food.
栄養バランスなんてかけらもない。実にいい加減な。
You can add vegetables as like a side dish.
バカ。
Mion and Satoko put their hands over my mouth. Uh-oh. Oh, yep. A moment later, the door rattled open, and Chi-sensei, a known curry maniac, suddenly poked her head in. Uh-oh, folks. Uh-oh. She doesn't look very happy.
今、誰かカレーの悪口を言っていませんでしたか？
No, teacher. No, teacher. No, I would never say anything about like that.
言ってません！言ってません！
Everyone's faces went totally white, and they all shook their heads in denial. Her eyes rolled over the classroom. Her glare wasn't just a teacher's ordinary stare.
そうですか。空耳でしたか。
It's never the wind! Why is that like a trope where somebody's like, did I hear something? Nah, it must have just been the wind. It is never just the wind. I don't know why that's like a thing. Keiichi should just go to 7-Eleven for every meal. Didn't his mom just say he should not do that? She's like, hey, we've got rice here. We've got stuff here. Artie's fictional wife. No. I jest. It's more just, she's probably the teacher's probably the best looking character in the cast. That's all I'm gonna say. Alright, and then she went back to the teacher's lounge. I may have been shouting, but for her to hear it all the way from across the hall in the teacher's lounge, that teacher is terrifying. Maybe she's got the room bugged.
他の食べ物はいくらこき下ろしてもいいけど、カレーだけはやめた方がいいよ。ひなみ沢に住んでいるうちは。
すまん。
Okay.
反省します。
That's what I said. But still, I can't have curry for every meal. And cup ramen is good because you can only eat it once in a while. If you ate it for every meal, you'd get bored of it pretty quickly. Rice and miso soup, and a good side dish. Yes, that's what a Japanese table should look like. That's it?
ケイチ君も
Where's the protein in
頑張
that?
って自炊してみればいいのに。
Where's the meat?
自分で作ったご飯ってとっても美味しいんだよ。
Yeah, she's got a
おじ
point.
さんは美味しいってよりめんどくさいけどな。でもたまにはそういう経験もいいかもね。
I mean, it depends on your attitude towards it. It also depends on what you make. And also, if you make it for somebody who appreciates it, that makes it even better. Like, making a pie just for yourself, like, yeah, it'll last a long time. But making a pie for your family and they're like, this is so good, and like they're like just eating it ravenously, that's a really good feeling.
そうそう、人生何事も経験でございましたよ。
True.
お指を切ったり、やけどをしたりでかわいそうなのです。
I like she says when, not if. When. She knows us. With everyone encouraging me like this, I started to feel like maybe I could do it if I tried too. Though approximately one person didn't sound like she was encouraging me. Cooking is a skill I'll have to learn at some point, since I want to live on my own one day. Good! Maybe learning now wouldn't be so bad. I'm pretty uneasy about it, but...
そうだな。この辺で多少の料理くらい得得しておかないと 今度部活で料理勝負になった時が辛い。
Miso soup is automatically included in your meal when you go to restaurants in Japan. Oh, it's like bottomless tortilla chips when you go to a Mexican restaurant in the States. Whenever she does that laugh, something bad's about to happen.
そうですわね。いつぞやのカレー勝負のような奇策は何度も通用しませんでございますし
She
ね。
just referenced something that happened in the last timeline. As if scorning me, Satoko ridicules my comeback from a hopeless situation in a certain do-or-die curry showdown.
何を余裕ぶってやがる。あの時だってサトコはリカちゃんに任せっきりだったじゃないか。あの時サトコがした料理は何だ。レナのカレーに塩を一袋入れて、
This is literally what happened last time.
ミオンのご飯に塩を一袋入れて、俺の鍋をひっくり返しやがって。
Oh, so either the exact same curry thing happened in this timeline too, or this is somehow maybe like the timeline splits partway through chapter 2? I don't know. This is all just theory. I relapsed into my grudge over the last curry showdown. For now, I calmed my unquellable anger by pinching Satoko's ears.
いたたたたたた。
What was that
あ
noise?
れは部活だからの攻撃なんでございましてよ。私だってこう見えてもちょっとはお料理とかできましたよ。
ほう、あのカレー勝負の時リカちゃんに任せっきりで人参の皮一つ剥かなかったお前がか。
Rika seems like she's got her act together.
肩腹痛いわ。
Satoko seems like she tries to act like she has her act together. There's a
人
difference.
間
We are
は
not
日
the
々
same.
進歩してますのよ。私がいつまでもお料理が下手っぴだと思ってると大間違いなんでしてよ。ねえリカ。僕が見てないとお鍋とか火元とか不安なのです。
Rika is brutally honest.
たまにガスの元栓も閉め忘れてるのです。
Oh, Satoko, you're gonna turn the house into a gas bomb. Everyone burst into laughter.
火元は料理以前の問題だ。いくら俺でもそれだけはない。
Everyone screenshot that. I have a feeling we're gonna come back to that.
カップラーメンばかり食べてる人に言われたくありませんわ。でもさとこちゃんもそこそこにはお料理とかできるんだよ。
いいぞレナ、こんなやつのためにわざわざフォローなんかしてやることはないんだぞ。
いや別にフォローってわけじゃないよ。リカちゃんがずば抜けて料理がうまいから目立たないだけでさ。
It still kind of blows my mind that Retta has the same voice actress as Nagisa.
さとこちゃんだってまあ基本くらいはマスターしてるよね。少なくともご飯とお味噌汁くらいは作れますわ。カリフラワーとブロッコリーの見分けはつかないけど。
How the heck do you not tell the difference between cauliflower and broccoli? What? Apart from the completely different flavors, one of them is white and the other is green. Also, broccoli florets are a much different texture than cauliflower florets.
どっちも茹でれば食べられるのは同じですわ。
No, they are not! What recipe are you making where they taste the same after you cook them? Are you just slavering them in Sweet Baby Ray's? Were you making them for Mark Zuckerberg? Is that what's going on? Satoko erupted into anger, making two fists and swinging them from above her head. Everyone laughed a lot after that. Well, at least I did! Man, he has such an annoying laugh.
むがー。他の人にならともかくケイチさんに笑われるのだけは我慢がなりませんですわ。
Maybe she is colorblind, but again, even so, they are different textures.
確かに俺は他のみんなよりも料理技術は劣るかもしれない。
But that can change.
だけどな、少なくともサトコにだけは負けない自信はあるぞ。
There's also an age gap between the two of you, so I'm not sure how impressive that is there, Keiji.
少なくともサトコにだけは。
なんですって。急にこと書いて自信があるとは肩洗いたくて笑っちゃいますわ。こう見えても私リカと交代でご飯をちゃんと作ってますのよ。
I feel like Satoko is being a bit more like defensive and less like, I don't want to say bratty, but like I feel like she's kind of arrogant in the previous chapters where she's just like, ha ha ha, you suck, I'm gonna do great, and now she's just like, no, I'm not bad, like I can do this.
ちゃんと自炊ぐらいできるんでございますからね。
そうかそうか。自炊ができて偉いな。後でご褒美に飴玉買ってやるからな。
I patted Satoko on the head while I made fun of her. You're being kind of a dip this timeline, Keiichi. Satoko seemed to know I was making fun of her too, since her face went bright red very quickly and steam started to pour out like she was a kettle.
全然信じてませんのね。
Yeah, I feel like in the previous 2 chapters she would have been resorting to violence by this point, but here she's like, yeah, she's just like getting upset. Maybe she's on the spectrum? I mean, I don't know.
とにかくケイチさんより私の方が全然お料理が上手なんでござ
We
います
already
よ。
know what this is gonna devolve into. It's gonna be like, oh, club activity. Everyone cooks. Whoever does the worst has to kill themselves.
ほう。
You know, it's a fun punishment
じ
game.
ゃあカリフラワーとブロッコリーの違いを言えたら俺も信じてやるぞ。
Why are they constantly narrowing in on this?
ほれ言ってみろ。
緑の方がブロッコリー。じゃなくて黄色い方。
Okay, yeah, she is colorblind.
カリフラワーが青、赤、緑。
ほれほれブロッコリーは何色だ？
Wait a second, I don't think we've ever seen this sprite on her before. What are the... Okay. Lip sync on, lip sync off. No, what are the buttons to switch between the graphic styles real quickly? That's what I want to know. Boo, 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 boo. Oh, P! P is what you do. Okay. Okay. It looks like she's trying. It looks like on this one she's gonna sock us in the face right here. That's interesting. And here it looks like she's going into a kung fu pose. That's all right. That's interesting. I gotta say, I do like the console art style for Satoko in particular better than the new graphics, but I like the new graphics for pretty much everyone else.
青赤緑ってテレビのブラウン管じゃあるまいし。おれおれ言ってみろ言ってみろ。
I mean, apples and pears, again, very different texture and very different flavor.
別にブロッコリーが何色かわかんなくてもさとこちゃんはお
Keiichi,
料理
why
ができるん
are you
ですよ
sucking
ね。
so much? Like, she's actually trying to be nicer this time around, so let's celebrate that.
偉い偉いでちゅよ。
My gosh, he sucks. Yeah, I knew that was coming. Ah! Oh no! I can't punch people.
ケイチさんのバカ。
Oh, it was nothing to cry hysterically about. She's so... I'm not saying that cute. I stroked her head as hard as I could. Ruffle, ruffle, ruffle!
ほう、ケイちゃんもそこまで言うからには、サトコよりはまともなものを作ってみせられるんだろう
Why
ね。
is Mion talking for her teeth? Also, I love how it's like... it's like Keiichi bullying a girl that's like 4 years younger than him. The teacher, I sleep. Keiichi insulting Curry, the teacher. like sprinting in. Remarked Mion, who gave me just a slightly mean smile. Actually, well, I had no confidence at all in my cooking. Then why are you being such a dip? But the situation carried me along, and I decided to deliver an impressive declaration.
まあ見ていろ。今夜俺はバッチリガッチリ見事な晩飯を作ってみせる。
That's, I don't know about that one, Keiichi.
少し余計に作って明日の弁当にしてくるからそれを見て腰を抜かすがいい。
それは楽しみなのです。明日のお弁当が待ち遠しいのですよ。
Rika-chan petted me on the head. Meh, her words of can't wait sounded so transparent.
レナも楽しみにしてるね。どんなのを作ってきてもレナは笑わないからね。
Oh, the real question, folks, is Rena on her meds this time or not? Oh, that's not what I want. I want this one that sounds exactly the same.
となると、明日の弁当は私も本気で作らなきゃならないようだね。
Look at that smug smile.
じゃあこうしようか。明日のお弁当で勝負ってのはどう？
See, I knew this was gonna happen.
もちろん部活扱いだからね。 罰ゲームもついちゃうよ。
See? I knew it! Okay, this punishment is gonna be something really stupid. It's like... it's gonna be something not quite as extreme as, like, physical pain, but it's gonna be like, you're gonna absolutely humiliate yourself beyond recognition.
あら、それは妙案でございますわね。どうですケイチさん。引くなら今のうちでしてよ。
Satoko wiped her tears and snarled at me, as if this was her chance to turn things around. Maybe this is bad? Yeah, if you're gonna talk the talk, you gotta walk the walk. I feel like maybe this conversation's getting pretty out of hand. Oh, if I apologize, now's my chance? What came out of Keiichi Maibaro's mouth that was a statement so reckless it even frightened me?
ああ、上等だぜ。明日の弁当を見て腰を抜かすなよ。
Keiichi's gonna be watching YouTube videos all night, like how to make good bento, just following all of these Instagram people. Everyone raised their voices in surprise at my bold, confident reply. Ah, now I've done it. What have I done? I'm so irresponsible.
さてミオンさん、ビリになったらどんな素敵な罰ゲームになってしまうんですの？
Satoko grinned fearlessly, as if to say that it was already decided I'd be playing said fantastic punishment game.
そうだね。じゃあこんなのはどうかな。明日のお弁当勝負に負けた人は明日のお昼休み職員室で食事中の知恵
Oh, and
先生
insult
の
Curry
前
to her
で
face.
カレーの悪口を言うってのは。
Alright, no, I could do that.
みーちゃん、それは
That's a good way to get expelled.
なんて恐ろしい。
Everyone went pale and gasped at how truly terrifying the punishment game was. Chi-sensei was such a maniac about Curry that she'd risk her life for it. And to go up to her and start saying bad things about Curry, what kind of fate would await us? Just trying to imagine it was scary. And as everyone looked blankly amazed at how terrifying the punishment game was, Rika-chan spoke.
明日のお弁当は腕によりをかけますです。
She's like, I'm not gonna have to do it. I'm not worried. Rena and Mion and Satoko. Everyone nodded deeply in agreement.
もっともケイチさんには明日のお弁当以前に今夜のお夕食の方が問題でしょうけどね。
俺が今夜どんな素晴らしいディナーになるか見る。明日の弁当でその片鱗をほんの少しだけ見せてやるから楽しみにしていろよ。
あれだけの大見を切ったんですのよ。
Yeah, it is.
これでとんでもないのを作っちゃったらどうなるか分かってるんでございましょうね。
Yeah.
さとここそ明日知恵先生にどんな恐ろしい目に遭わされるか今から楽しみで仕方ないだろう。
I'm not scared of Chia Pet Sensei. Keiichi has such a weird laugh.
楽しみでしてよ。明日ケイチさんはきっと土下座してそれだけはどうかご勘弁を。
The real horror in Chapter 3 is just how angry the teacher is gonna get.
泣きながら言うんで
It's
すよ。
very realistic fear.
目に浮かぶようですわ。
何を。
What are you doing? Both of us on the verge of tears pull on each other's cheeks. What the heck? Stretch. We needed a CG of that, or I don't believe you.
自らを窮地に追い込むことで視力を振り絞ろうとは。ケイちゃん、男だね。こんなの男なんて言いませんのよ。ただの無鉄砲って言いますのよ。自分もお料理なんかろくろくできないくせに。
You don't know that.
なに
What is going on? This like 16-year-old guy and this like 12-year-old girl are pulling each other's cheeks. This
レ
is
ナを
very
信
weird.
じてるからね。素敵なお弁当楽しみにしてるよ。
Rena on her meds is too nice for this world.
僕も明日のケイイチがとても楽しみなのですよ。
Their expectant gazes were painful. I was just trying to tease Satoko a little. How did it come to this? Well, you know, you were probably bullying her, actually.
楽しみにしててくれよ。
Keiichi's brain is now a separate entity from him. Ah! How? How am I able to say such reckless things? I'm being so unreasonable. What the heck is gonna happen to my dinner? And the bento showdown tomorrow? No, more importantly, if they make me say bad things about curry to Chi-sensei's face, what'll happen to me? The extreme contrast between my outward bravado and my internal screaming continued as the hot and humid June afternoon dragged on. I thought he'd just, like, burst out of the wall, like the Kool-Aid guy. That entire day, up until school was over, the whole time, my meal tonight and my bento tomorrow were the only things on my mind. You just were learning about the basics of differential calculus, and that's going to be on the test tomorrow. But no, think about food tonight. Actually, I relate to that. And now that I had a thought about it, it made Mom seem amazing for planning 3 meals every day of the year. I've complained before about having the same meal in a row once in a while, but now I know how rude that was. Ugh! More importantly, what am I gonna do about the punishment game tomorrow? He has a point. You never think that, like, planning and prepping meals is really that difficult as a kid. It takes effort, man. Like, it takes a lot of effort to actually do that. And besides that, what am I gonna eat tonight? Boo-hoo.
ケイチくん、ケイチくん。
ああ、ごめん。ちょっと考え事を。
She's like, I know what you were thinking about.
今夜の献立のこと？
Yeah, I have so many options. I just can't decide, you know? Actually, it's the opposite.
それとも明日のお弁当勝負のことかな？
She's a sharp cookie. She hit the mark, and I couldn't find anything to say. And my facial expression made obvious the fact that she hit the mark.
明日の勝負はきっとケイチくんが頑張ってお弁当を作ってこれたらそれで大丈夫だと思うよ。頑張って作った手作りのお弁当に優劣なんかないもの。
明日の勝負以前に今夜の晩飯代
I want to eat dinner now!
食中毒でばったり行くかもしれない。
I bet Rena would teach us a thing or two. I couldn't make any more bluffs. I exaggeratedly drooped my shoulders and heaved a sigh from the bottom of my gut. Rena laughed in a shrill way when she saw me do that.
やっぱりケイチくんお料理全然自信なんかなかったんだね。
So I've been found out. Ugh.
もしもケイチくんがどんなに頑張っても無理そうだったらレナに電話してもいいからね。
It's true, she lives right down the street, and she's very nice.
本当か？
Until she tries to kill you.
ケイチくんがちゃんと頑張ったらだよ。何も苦労しないで人に頼ろうとしちゃダメなんだから。
This is based Rena. Rena seemed naive, but sometimes she was instructive. She didn't just spoil people unconditionally. Rena always seemed like an adult at these moments.
どうしてもダメだったら電話するよ。その確率は極めて高いが。
ファイトオーだよ。さとこちゃんにあれだけ大見栄を切ったんだから頑張らなきゃ。
She sees right through us.
なあ、さとこってどの程度の料理ができるんだ？
Well, Keiichi, have you ever heard of Iron Chef? Oh no!
少なくともケイチくんよりはできるよ。
Great. That was so direct. It hit me pretty hard.
さとこちゃんをあれだけいじめたんだからケイチくんはちょっぴり苦労をしてもいいかもね。
Based Rena, yes! Keiichi deserves it because he really sucked today.
レナって結構意地悪なのな。
No, she's just giving you what you deserve.
レナは可愛いだけじゃないんだよ。だよ。
Now that I'd provoked Satoko that much, I couldn't just make some crummy bento. I can't believe how loose-lipped I am.
じゃあね。頑張ってね。お料理。ケイチくんがやればできるってことみんなに見せてあげようね。
おう。
I waved my hand absently in response. Leaving me with words of encouragement and a few pieces of super beginner advice, Rena disappeared past the trees. Well, there we go. It's time for cooking without looking. Sunset, then night, and then the house caught on fire. Mom, Dad, we have to move again. Fine, I'm desperate. So what? I may not know the ABCs of navigation, and I have neither a sea chart nor a compass. But still, one idiot is taking on the ocean of the great cooking age alone. And his name is Keiichi Maebara.
よしいざ料理
My enthusiasm is peerless. If energy and recklessness was all it took, I could take over the world. However, there are plenty of things in the world that can't be achieved with resolution alone. And cooking was probably the top contender. Therefore, even if it was a hastily prepared knowledge, I wanted something to help me. I made up my mind and fished through kitchen cabinets. I was on the hunt for a cookbook. My mom should have a few of them. For a complete amateur like me, the first thing I needed was information. Just like he who would cross the oceans needed a compass. For me, a cookbook was absolutely indispensable. Oh, here's one! Its worn-out, wrinkled cover made it somehow feel reliable. Okay! As long as I've got this...
考えるより産むが安しだなお料理の本さえあれば誰だってシェフの味が出せるじゃんよ
Dude, this piano song slays. Love it.
さすがはお料理の本
And as such optimistic thoughts filled my chest, I flipped through the pages. However,
の
it played with technical terminology like toys. I just couldn't see how to actually make things. Ah, you knew it all along, Keiichi Maebara. If anyone could make delicious food just by reading a book, then there would be no such job as gourmet chef in the first place. That is not true at all. This is not even remotely true. People don't go out to eat specifically because they can't cook themselves. Although there are people like that. Step 1, rice cooker. Step 2, water. Step 3, rice. Step 4, put together. Step 5, done. I mean, you need to also get the water to rice ratio correct, and you need to add a little bit of salt. If you add no salt to your rice, it is going to be flavorless. But my rule of thumb, for white rice, it's 1-to-1 ratio water to rice. And if it's brown rice, it's 2-to-1 ratio water to rice. First of all, it calls for 3 teaspoons. But which spoon is that? The one that says TSP on it. And it keeps saying to use however much you like! How much exactly are you supposed to use? Stop using just obscure expressions. If it says use however much you like, it means you're not going to screw it up if you add too much. It's not seasonings. Strain out the water in a colander. Add salt and pepper to taste. What the heck is a colander? And strain it out like stretching? You can't stretch water droplets like meat. Oh, this guy really is hopeless. Ah, and besides, how much salt and pepper is that supposed to be anyway? To taste, meaning to your preference.
もっと初心者に優しいマニュアルはないのか
Keiichi's the kind of guy to read 3 cloves of garlic and puts in 3 heads. It won't do you any good to yell. Cool off, Keiichi Maebara. Think calmly. For now, I'll leave the side dish until after. The rice is more important. Have to cook the rice or I can't start. It's too bad Google doesn't exist in the 80s. Yeah, I know a little about how to cook rice. I didn't cook it with my camping kit when camping all the time for nothing. I'll wash the rice. That should be enough water. And which switch is it? Is it this button? Oh, the lamp turned on. Yeah! Fully automatic rice cookers are one of the 3 sacred treasures after all. Now, pleased by the rice cooker set, I pulled myself together and decided to take on the miso soup next. The miso soup I made at the day camp was the instant kind after all. Well, it should be fine if I just melted the miso into the hot water, no doubt. I'll boil the water and put in the miso. Huh? How much should I put in?
何人数とお好みで適量にまたしても抽象表現か
Yeah, that is admittedly not helpful.
ああそれなら適量に入れてやるさ
I crushed the bag of miso in my fist and put half its contents into the pot. Was this really okay? Maybe this is a little too hearty.
濃厚なお味の味噌汁がいいって言うもんなそういえばお袋の味噌汁は少し薄すぎる気がしてたんだ俺にはこれくらい入れた方が合うかもしれない
Remember, you can always add more later. You can't take it out once you put it in, though. I said it aloud as if trying to convince myself. Then, convinced by my own words, I nodded to myself. Alright, the rice and miso soup were probably fine. Next, the side dish! I decided to make an awesome side dish, and it is ridiculously easy to make. He's going to Guga for side dishes. He's like, this is not ridiculously easy. It takes 5 days to make. But what should I make? Something I could make. Something that would add color to the meal. That's it. Why don't I stir-fry some vegetables? That's a good side dish. You can eat vegetables raw, too, and they won't die just from a little bit of fire. I was so cute then, not realizing that the level of my thoughts had fallen from what would look great in a meal to what would be easy to make. There were quite a few vegetables in the refrigerator. What kind of vegetables would go in a stir-fry? Bean sprouts? Those are great in stir-fry. Cabbage? That also works. Chives? Yeah. Onions? Yep. Can you put cucumbers and lettuce in? You can. It's generally not traditional, but cucumbers are good as like a raw side dish. For now, I grabbed a nearby cutting board, cut them into chunks, and tossed them into a wok. They have a wok? This has gotten pretty exciting. Is the true worth of men's cooking? Hey, this is actually getting kind of fun! All of a sudden, there was a pile of vegetables in the wok. Alright, next is the salad oil. Glug, glug, glug went the salad oil. It'd be more exciting if I filled it to the brim. Uh-oh. This is not gonna end well. Boiled veggies are superior. I like grilled or stir-fried veggies. Whoops, a bit leaked out. Well, no point in worrying about something so minor. The great Keiji Maibaro's cooking is exciting! Okay, let's turn on the heat. Whip! I thought we were about to get... I was about to say, like, I thought we were gonna get a full-on fire CG, and boom, there it is. Oh my gosh, will you stop spamming my chat with the stupid bots? Go away. Get another streamer. I'm not even big. I don't even want to be big. Get out of here. Whoosh. The salad oil filling the wok to the brim caught fire. And flames reached up to the sky. This is not amazing. This is what Iron Chef means. Keiji, you generally don't want to be working with fire if you're a noob. Those words were spoken by delusion. I was saying something outrageously careless, but when the words came out, they sort of convinced me. All the best chefs cook on really high heat! Right as the crazy pillar of fire started to burn the ceiling, I finally realized that the fabulous cooking before my eyes had culminated into an actually life-threatening disaster. How do you even get flames that go up into the ceiling and burn the ceiling? Like literally, how? I don't care how much oil you're putting in, and like, are you putting gasoline right into the fire? Like, come on, man. You do not want to throw random stuff in. Yes, true. Wait, what? Could I have been doing something insane? The force of the flame grew stronger and stronger. Wait, what? What are you doing in my house? Kerflack! Somebody forcefully struck me in the back of the head. Uh-oh. What are you... Okay, first off, what are you two doing in my house? I can't believe how stupid you were doing that! Rika just looks disappointed in us. Then we have this... Oh, that's classic. I saw Satoko and Rika. What were they doing in my house?
Satoko? Rika-chan?
As I stood in wonder at their unexpected entrance, Satoko shoved me out of the way and turned off the gas. Then Rika-chan got a towel, soaked it in water, spread it out, and placed it over the pot. She continued to soak more towels and put a second, then a third on. Once a whole bunch were piled on, the fire finally stopped. Dang! Rika is cool, calm, and collected in a disaster. All of that had happened in a few moments. Having avoided a huge fire by a hair's breadth, the three of us gasped for air. We saw the fire from our houses! You guys live 10 miles away! We saw the fire from our houses! You would never risk putting anything above medium heat on the stove. High heat is good if you're trying to sear meat. Speaking from experience, I'm not great at cooking on high heat. I don't like it, but that is the way to cook steak and stuff. They just saved your butt, though. Satoko, are you practicing to be a ventriloquist? You barely opened your mouth at all.
圭一は今日から宿なしでかわいそなのです。
That is very true. And after pretending to be an Iron Chef, I'll finally begin to take in the situation.
やっぱりあれは火事になりかけてた。
当たり前でございませんの。ほらご覧なさいませ。天井がすすけてるではございません。
That one's gonna be hard to explain to Dad.
すすけていいのは男の背中だけですのよ。
Satoko was seriously mad at me. Maybe they saved my life. According to what they said, I was so absorbed in my fiery cooking that I hadn't noticed when Satoko and Rika-chan rang the doorbell. Oh, so maybe they were just checking in like, let's just see how he's doing. But they could tell someone was home, so they came in to check. Thank goodness they did.
僕と聡子が来なかったら今頃ボーボーで消防車がなのです。圭一さん、そろそろ事の重大さが飲み込めまして。
At some point I sat down on my knees as I listened obediently.
すみませんでした。皆さんは命の恩人です。
素敵なディナーがどんなものかと来てみれば。
They're like, we wanted to see that you were making a really good dinner. We wanted to eat it.
案の定このざまですし。
Never mind, they had no faith in us.
これじゃ出来上がりを見るまでもありませんわね。
嫌味なやつ。
True.
じゃあ聡子たち、俺が夕食にどんなものを作るか見に来たってわけか。
その嫌味に命と家を助けられたの、よく肝に銘じた方がよろしいのではありません？
True.
はい、すみませんでした、聡子さん。
At this point, having shown them such disaster, I couldn't exactly make any more bluffs. I'd completely surrendered.
カレーの時は結構頑張ってましたのに。あの時の圭一さんはどこに行ってしまいましたの？
True.
まったく。
あの時は後輩職に手伝ってもらって他の班の鍋を丸ごと借りただけで。
No, you bribed.
別に
You
俺が料
bribed
理
the
したわ
younger
けじゃ。
teammates with some very disgusting promises. And you just also, I don't know how you were able to like sweet talk the judges into being like, no, actually my curry is great, but apparently he did.
圭一さん、そんなズルをしてましたの？
I mean, no, that was completely legit.
まったく、いくら部活とはいえとんでもない手を使いますのね。
Yeah, imagine going to extremes to try to win a game. Nobody in the club would have done that. Pouring salt into the other team's pot seems far more terrible to me. Yeah, indeed. But Satoko was in control right now, so I couldn't respond. I obediently hanged my head to her.
ところで圭一さん、この凄まじいお鍋、まさか味噌汁だなんて言わないでしょうね。
Satoko stared into the pot, totally full of miso, with an awful expression. So I really did get the amount wrong. She's like, you have to put the whole pack in. Judging by the look on Satoko's face, whatever was in the pot couldn't be called miso anymore.
味噌汁はともかく、ご飯はうまく炊けたはずだ。最近の炊飯器は便利だからな。
I'm sorry, Keiichi, but if the bare minimum you can do is cook rice, you're not really in any position to brag. Rice is... If you have a rice cooker, cooking rice is effortless.
きっとそろそろ
The
炊けて
cooker
る頃
does
だ。
all the work. Cooking it on the stove is a little tougher, because you gotta make sure it doesn't burn.
み
Meep? What is that supposed to mean?
ー、炊けてないです。ほら、まだ中身も全然お水なのですよ。
え？あれ？だってちゃんとスイッチを入れたらランプが
Did it
点
just
灯して。
turn it on to keep warm?
圭一さん、あなたが押したボタン、これタイマーのボタンですのよ。朝食用にセットしてあるから、電源が入るのは明日の早朝でしたよ。
Keiichi can't even read. He's more hopeless than we
っ
thought.
てことは何か？俺は結局おかずはもとより味噌汁もご飯すらも何も自炊できなかったってことか。
ざまあありませんわね。どうです？ようやく身の程を思い知りまして。さあ認めなさいませ。
Uh-oh.
私前原圭一は北条聡子さんよりもお料理の下手っぴな口先男でしたって。
Do I have to say those exact words? drain the water that's 101 cooking. Hey, no. If you use the rice cooker correctly, you don't have to drain any water. You put in the right amount, boom! It absorbs it all.
私はサトコより料理の下手っぴなダメダメ男でございました。
I mean, in his defense, both of those are true statements.
どうもすみませんでした。
Allegedly. We actually haven't seen Satoko cook, but... Okay, dude, enough with the over-the-top screaming. It's getting old. I fainted in agony. Really? What a drama king. Rika-chan patted my head, satisfied at the sight. And Satoko laughed loudly in triumph. You'll just have to imagine that. I've completely lost. In the end, I talked big, but I couldn't make a single dish adequately. You know, you can always just eat an apple. That's easy, no cooking required. At this rate, I'll go without dinner. And tomorrow morning, no breakfast, and no bento for lunch, either. I didn't know how many days it would be before my parents returned, but at this rate, without a doubt...
飢え死にだ。
No, you can call Rena. Rena, I almost burned the house down. Can I please have some food? Okay.
もちろん明日の弁当もなし。
What are you doing, Rika?
そして明日の罰ゲームも俺で決まり。ギャー。
This guy's very dramatic. Rika-chan kept patting my head with a smile on her face that couldn't possibly get any bigger. I don't know, I think it could get a little bigger. Satoko, completely appalled at how unsightly I looked, heaved a heavy sigh. You know, it could probably get a little... Yeah, see? That's bigger.
大の男が情けないったらありゃしませんのね。
Hey, do not rank your opinion of all adult men by your opinion of Keiichi. This is bad.
ほら、
There's vending machines on every corner. His parents said not to eat out.
おどき遊ばせ。
As I sobbed like a girl, Satoko, displeased, brushed me aside and dumped the remains of the miso soup into the sink tidy and began to rinse out the pot.
いいよサトコ。
Satoko, don't clean up after our mess.
自分の後片付けくらい俺がやるよ。
I couldn't have Satoko clean up the cooking utensils I'd made a mess of. There's even vending machines at religious shrines. I mean, hey, the Lord's Supper and all that.
圭一は黙って見ているといいのですよ。
She grinned as she said it.
黙って見てろって。何言ってるんだリカちゃん。
Satoko Hojo. I think that's how you pronounce it. Yes, that's true. He's not an adult. He's still a teenager.
まあそういうことですわね。圭一さんは黙って私に任せればいいんですのよ。
Actually, I think I'm digging the console sprites, at least for these two. Satoko turned around and declared, seeming unbothered. As if to say that amateurs should keep their hands off. Her annoyed expression was a little scary.
任せるって何を。
Satoko didn't answer. Instead, she spun around back and began to rifle through the pots in the refrigerator.
おいおい、あまりいじり回すなよ。ひっくり返したりしたら俺が後でお袋に怒られるんだからな。
うるさい男ですわね。男子厨房に立ち入らずでしたよ。
Satoko, saying that could get you canceled nowadays, which is stupid.
いいかあいあいさですよ。
Trad wife Satoko? Satoko snapped her fingers and Rika got to her tiptoes, grabbed me by the back of my neck, and started dragging me away. Leaving Satoko alone in the kitchen, Rika dragged me back to the living room.
おいおい、リカちゃん、もう話してくれよ。サトコに任せたら台所が大変なことに。
Oh, I'm sorry. Was it Satoko or you who almost burned the house down? You're never gonna let me live that down.
今日の貞子は圭一を見返しに来たのですよ。復讐なのです。
復讐？そういえばサトコのやつどこか
Yeah,
詳しい顔を。
you were kind of mean to her. And even if I don't particularly like Satoko, like, you don't get to just be mean to her for no reason. Eventually, from the kitchen, there was the sound of a faucet being twisted and a stove dial being turned. I began to hear the nostalgic sounds that made me envision dinner time. The refrigerator opening and closing, ingredients being cut on the chopping board. Did he just throw, like, an entire bunch of celery in without cutting it up into the pot? That'd be kind of hilarious. What did that mean? Was Satoko? Was she cooking?
圭一にいっぱいいっぱいバカにされましたですから、聡子は自分にもお料理がちゃんとできるところを圭一に見せたかったのですよ。
こうして音だけ聞いてる限りでは、お皿を落とす音も破裂音も爆発音も聞こえてこないな。
Keiichi, how much of your own blood did you spill into the dinner, by the way? At this point, at least, she had proven she was a more skillful cook than me. In the cooking showdown with Satoko Hojo versus Keiichi Maibara, it looked like victory had already been decided. I recalled Satoko's slightly annoyed expression from before.
俺、日中聡子のことを
That's
ちょっ
what
とバカにしすぎちゃったよな。
That's what I'm saying. Like, I get if he's totally inept at being in the kitchen, he's probably never learned, so he just needs to learn. And his mom wasn't really able to teach him because they had to leave right away. Honestly, I feel like if I was his mom, I would have been like, "Hey, Rena, how would you like to show Keiichi a thing or two? I'll make it worth your while." And she's like, "I'd love to."
ひょっとしてそれで根に持たれた？
We were just provoking each other with our usual back and forth. It wasn't usual back and forth though, because she wasn't really doing it herself, but I think maybe I did overdo it. At the very least, I shouldn't have made fun of Satoko, who could cook for herself when I'd never cooked for other than recreation before.
聡子はそんなの根に持っていませんです。
でもこうしてわざわざ俺のところまで押しかけてきたくらいだろ。やっぱり怒ってるに違いないよ。
I quietly took a peek into the kitchen. She definitely looked different from her usual bird-brained Satoko. Her eyes were sharp and her movements were brisk, to the point that it was a little scary. Then she must have noticed me because she turned around and shot me in an annoyed glare. I cringed in fear and hastily pulled my head back out.
怒ってる。
Satoko's gotta get braces one of these days because one of her teeth is hanging out. You cannot handle sharp utensils? I mean, you have an excuse for that one, DX. Yeah, Keiichi has two hands. Using a knife is a lot more tricky if you only have one hand. Then again, I can cut stuff, but when I see like the professional chefs that are doing like the like super fast knife action, I'm just like, I'm not doing that. She's mad.
やっぱり怒ってる。ああ、俺はどんな復讐をされるんだろう。
Is she gonna poison the food? Probably.
聡子は失敗したくないから真剣なだけなのです。
He'll never know if I put this laxatives in his food.
怒ってなんかいないのですよ。
Please don't do that, Satoko. That wouldn't be nice.
あれのどこが怒ってないって言うんだよ。
I mean, they live together, so I think Rika and Satoko know each other pretty well.
あんなおっかなそうな聡子、初めて見たよ。
圭一さん、ちょっと聞こえてますか？
Oh, sorry.
はい。
I jumped at Satoko's angry outburst and faced towards the kitchen. I felt exactly like a kid who had done something bad and had gotten called to the teacher's lounge. Speaking of which, that's gonna happen to you tomorrow.
お味噌ってどこにしまってありますの？
I used it all.
冷蔵庫がでかくて全然わかりませんですわよ。
すみません。味噌はその冷蔵庫の中段扉の中の下の網棚の左奥に。
なんですのこれは。お味噌のパックは使ったらちゃんと口を閉じなさいですわよ。
To be fair, he just kind of crunched it in half.
冷蔵庫の中がお味噌で汚れてしまってるではありませんの。
いやすみません。
Man, this guy is hopeless. Before I can look for something to wipe it with, Satoko wiped it off with a wet dish towel.
まったく男の人ってのはどうしてこう後片付けがずさんなんでございますの？
Again, don't judge all men based on Keiichi. Also, men generally have a higher tolerance for uncleanliness than women. Just a fact.
そのまま大人になったらと思うとゾッとしましたよ。
Ugh. I couldn't talk back to Satoko today. The only thing I could do was obediently lower my head and apologize. As Satoko nitpicked and I apologized, a good smell began to fill the kitchen.
お味噌
Breadsticks.
汁のお味噌はこ
Oh, miso. That's not
う。お玉に
breadsticks.
少量をすくい取ってお箸で溶きながら少しずつ加えて味見をしながら慎重にですのよ。
It's true. Tasting your food, it's important.
丸ごとひねり出してお鍋に開けちゃうなんて言語道断でしたよ。
すみません。
See, he's learning a bit.
家庭科の授業は 真面目にやってませんでした。
Ironically, he never paid attention in home ec class because he was too busy thinking about dinner that night.
情けない。
I mean, hey, he had it lucky. They don't even really teach home ec in school anymore, which is very not good.
まったく。これだから男の人は。
Okay, alright, again. Let's give up on the man hating before it starts becoming a problem, Satoko. I cowered at her annoyed-sounding muttering. But looking at her like this, she seemed quite good at cooking. I had just been overshadowed by Rena's and Rika-chan's artistic abilities. Satoko's skills were clearly enough to get passing marks.
さあさあ、そんなところでぼーっとしてる暇がございましたら、食卓にお茶碗の用意をなさいませ。私もリカも食べますから、用意は3人分ですわよ。
This'll be nice. It's nice to have company for dinner.
あ、はいはい。
I hastily took a 3 people's worth of dishes and such from the cabinets and headed to the dining room. When I returned there, I could hear laughter from a variety show on the television. Rika-chan was sprawled out on the couch, watching television and relaxing. When she noticed me putting dishes out on the table, she came scampering up.
もうすぐご飯なのです。圭一のうちでご飯なのです。ニパー
Yes, thank you, VX. Yeah, you definitely don't want to be one of those women. We all know what we're talking about.
リカちゃんは上機嫌みたいだな。
How does Rika speak a star?
サトコの不機嫌とはえらい違いだ。
サトコは全然不機嫌じゃないです。
Rika's embraced the whole you can't control what happens to you, you can just control how you react to it.
久しぶりにとても楽しそうなのですよ。
She's just a crabby She just has, pardon the expression, resting bitch face, alright? It's a thing. Some of us just look perpetually ticked off as our default expression, myself included.
楽しそう？あれがか？
サトコがニーニーと一緒だった頃みたいです。こんなに楽しそうなサトコを見るのは本当に久しぶりなのですよ。
Who's Nini? Nini? What the heck is Nini? Sounds like is that a sound a cat makes?
ニーニーはニーニーです。
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot. He wasn't like mentioned at all in chapter 2, but she had an older brother named Satoshi, didn't he? Or didn't she? He was kind of played a huge part in that first chapter. I totally skimmed over that.
サトコのお兄さんなのですよ。
Oh. Ooh. That was the other thing. Yeah, chapter 2 okay, maybe there was reference to him, but I didn't remember any reference to him.
サトコの兄。
So I guess he's a thing in chapters 1 and 3.
サトシと言いますです。
Mhm.
名前くらい聞いたことがありませんですか？
Because he was the one in the club before we were. And then he was the guy who disappeared last year for like the Watanagashi festival. Like somebody died. I can't remember who died, but I think he was the one who like disappeared afterwards. Satoshi Hojo? Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. At least he didn't go to our school.
サトシっていうのか？サトコの兄貴は。初めて聞いたな。
She had a brother, huh? I didn't know that.
いるのですよ。
Saying that, Rika-chan grinned even more brightly and went Nipa again.
サトシと一緒にいる時のサトコはいつもこんな風で楽しそうだったのですよ。
I wouldn't call my older brother bro. Yeah, I think it's one of those Japanese things that probably doesn't translate very well over into English or other cultures.
本当に久しぶりにこんな楽しそうなサトコを見ますのです。
However I looked at it, she seemed to be in a bad mood. But her good friend Rika-chan was saying that it was actually the opposite.
楽しそうなのか？
きっとニーニーと一緒だった頃を思い出してるに違いないのです。懐かしいのですよ。
懐かしい？じゃあ今はサトコとは別居なのか？
Maybe Satoko's older brother Satoshi is actually a lot older than her. He must have gone off on his own and he was living by himself far away.
サトコはそのサトシって兄と仲は良かったみたいだな。
She's like, I can hear you gossiping about my wife, you goons.
はい。とても仲良しな兄弟だったです。
She spread her arms wide to demonstrate the width of how well they got along. According to Rika-chan, Satoko supported her docile, slightly unreliable older brother through nagging. That was their relationship. Oh, was her older brother Sunahara? I see. That certainly applied to the current situation. We had me, unreliable, unable to cook even a single dish properly, and Satoko, who redid it while scolding me. Could Satoko have been getting a glimpse of her brother, who now lived far away, through me?
いつもあんな感じでサトシに小言を言いながら、だけどしっかりと支えながら仲良く生活してたんだな。
Okay!
今日圭一のところへ来たのだってサトコが言い出したのですよ。
She said there's no way the unreliable Keiichi-san could possibly make dinner. We need to go make it for him.
じゃあ別に復讐とか見返すとか、そういう意味で来たんじゃなかったのか。
So she saved our life and then she cooked dinner. That's pretty nice, Satoko.
放っておけなかったのですよ。
Yeah, oh, that's true. That was Satoshi's baseball bat, wasn't it? Because we found it in the glove closet. It had his name. Home run Ren and Mion's faces. Oh, that's such a brilliant and also horrible description of what happened. Yep. That was good times. That was 2 years ago. Wow.
サトコは今でもしっかり者の妹なのです。
I was an only child. I didn't know how it felt to have siblings. Of course, I'd never had a little sister like Satoko. But I felt that in this moment, I was an older brother, obediently and helplessly being looked after by her, without any teasing or messing around. I'm going to give my thanks for her trouble. That's what I honestly thought.
圭一さん、おしゃもじがどこにあるかわかりませんでしたよ。
What's a ladle?
ああ、ごめん。しゃもじはその右脇の引き出しの中に。
I ran into the kitchen, got the ladle out of the drawer, and offered it to Satoko. I thought this was my spoon.
さあ出来上がりでしたよ。もうお茶碗とかは準備できてますの？
ああ、もう準備 OK だぜ。
ではご飯にしましょうですわね。リカ、お夕飯ですわよ。みー。
I heard Rika-chan's effervescent voice coming from the dining room. Satoko turned off the gas flame on the stove and lifted up the pot of miso soup. By the way, remember when I said screenshot that? Yeah, he didn't turn off the gas.
圭一さんは炊飯器を持ってきてくださいます？ひっくり返さないように注意するんですのよ。
ああ、気をつけるよ。
Man, that's a fast rice cooker. I can carry rice cookers just fine without being warned about it. I thought about replying like that, but I decided not to. No mean words or witty retorts today. You said that a little too late. Maybe you said that earlier in the day. Rice with steam billowing from it, and miso soup. As well as a handful of side dishes. A handful? She made more than one? On the table was a truly firm, family-oriented dinner. It wasn't weird at all, or extravagant. It was a daily meal, the sort a housewife would make. It was very nonchalant and brimming with liveliness.
ではいただきますですわよ。
いただきまーす。
At Satoko's command, Rika-chan and I both thanked her in a loud voice. Oh, here we
サ
go.
トコのことを侮ってたよ。
Our first new CG. Let's go.
完全に敗北だ。
少しは見直しまして。リカやレナさんに比べれば私もまだまだですけど、頼りない圭一さんなんかよりはよっぽどお料理ができましたよ。
That looks nice. Also, are those brown streaks on the bowl like a design pattern with paint, or did she just spill a lot of teriyaki sauce on it? She also has got a spray water bottle of Coca-Cola that's gone a little flat, and we got pineapple chunks in stew. Cool.
へいへい、おみそれしやした。
Please do. I love seeing photos of food. That's why I have that channel in the Discord. After I honestly admitted my defeat, Satoko's expression finally softened, and she laughed with her normally loud and cheerful voice.
お、ご飯いい感じで炊き上がってるな。
Though she used the rice cooker, it tasted a little different from the rice my mom made. Maybe she used a different amount of water for it. Even so, I could feel Satoko's personality from the rice, which made it taste better than usual. The miso soup was a little on the thick side, but it was still delicious. The side dishes, while not exactly flashy, tasted great as well. It was all so appetizing, and I couldn't stop eating.
おかずもよくできてるよ。サトコも決して料理は下手じゃないぞ。
I gave my honest impression, without a hint of sarcasm. Satoko seemed to have been expecting some, because when I praised her so honestly, she got flustered instead.
褒められるのは光栄ですけど、そんなに立派ではありませんのよ。おかずはお惣菜屋さんで買ったものを温めただけですし、
Oh, that's cheating.
これとこれは缶詰を開けただけですし、自分でちゃんと作ったのはご飯と味噌汁だけなんですのよ。
You know, you're still 2 dishes ahead of Keiichi. Satoko said, embarrassed, her face a bit flushed. There was none of her normal verbal abuse or sarcasm in there either. Isn't this a much better relationship?
ご飯とお味噌汁しか作ってませんけど、出来合いのおかずを並べればそこそこに立派にはなりますのよね。
うちのおふくろだって出来合いのお惣菜は使うし、
There's
缶
nothing wrong
詰だ
with
って
canned
使うよ。
goods.
そんなので恥ずかしがることはないだろう。これは立派な夕食だよ。
I gave her honest praise. I'd never met Satoko's brother, but Satoshi would probably praise her in the same way.
まあ私にもそこそこのお料理ができることが分かっていただけたのでしたら、それで十分ですわね。
Yeah, oh, is that just an anime thing to have, like, the one tooth hanging out? Yeah, it's a little weird looking, I gotta say.
おかわりいります？お味噌汁はまだありますですわよ。
Huh? Did that brat just awkwardly change the subject? When I realized my response had been on the mark, it made me a little happy.
こうしてご飯を食べてると、サトシと一緒にご飯を食べてるみたいで楽しいのです。
Rika-chan mentioned Satoko's older brother's name again. Satoko's chopsticks paused, and she looked up at the ceiling.
懐かしいですわね。一体今頃どこでどうしてるやら。
She had a faraway smile, as if yearning for a friend who had moved away. From how it looked, I got the impression she hadn't seen Satoshi in quite some time. Satoko realized I was giving her a blank stare.
申し訳ないですわね。
That's a stretchy mouth.
サトシっていうのは私のニーニーじゃなくて兄なのですのよ。
あ、うん。そうなんだ。
Nini must have been a nickname only Satoko used for him. It was funny to see her hastily deny it.
あんなに生活力のない人に家出なんて解消があったなんてびっくりでございますけど、
Oh, he ran away.
そのうち値を上げでひょっこり帰ってくるに決まってますわ。
家出したんだ。
There was another story to what Satoko had said so cheerfully. The reason for Satoshi not living with her was a little serious. Everyone had been talking about it in such an upbeat way, so I continued to talk about him. Should I not have broached the subject at all? I hastily took a look at Satoko's face after thinking that, but there was no trace of the gloomy expression I'd been worrying about.
まあ一人暮らしに憧れるなんて年頃らしい夢ではありませんの。どうせニーニーには長続きするはずもありませんけどね。ご来性のない人ですから。サトシはああ見えてもとても我慢強い人なのですよ。サトコが思ってるよりもずっと我慢強いのです。リカはすぐニーニーの肩を持ちますのね。リカはちょっと甘やかしすぎですのよ。サトコはニーニーに厳しすぎるのです。
Yeah, that's probably the
帰
case.
ってきたらもっと優しくしてあげた方が良いのです。
True. Satoko and Rika-chan's views regarding Nini, aka Satoshi, were parallel to each other, but I could easily tell that both of them really liked him. They were so optimistic too, even though he had run away from them. It was like they were going to see him again next week. Satoko and Rika-chan both liked Satoshi even now, and waited for him, believing he would surely return. I've never met him, but I know for sure that this Satoshi person was a really good guy. I had thought Satoko would be deeply hurt by her brother running away, but she had already overcome that. She was still being the energetic little sister, always full of vim and vigor, as if to say that her brother could come back at any time he liked. I thought that Satoko didn't think through anything, and just frolicked and played practical jokes every day, and that was it. But she was really... yeah.
なんで私の頭を撫でますの？
Yeah, that's a weird thing to do. Why are you doing that? I roughly rubbed a hand through Satoko's hair.
俺、サトコのことを誤解してたよ。お前がこんなにしっかり者だなんて思わなかった。
Satoko seemed to think I was making fun of her, but and tried to bat my hand away. But then she saw that there wasn't even a trace of malice on my face, and obediently granted me her head. It was a little weird.
サトコはしっかり者。うんうん。
Okay, yeah. Don't talk to her like she's your new puppy.
私は最初からしっかり者でしたよ。圭一さんに合わせて悪ふざけしてあげてたに過ぎませんわ。
Folks, do you think she started playing pranks on him, or do you think he started playing pranks on her first? You decide. There was her usual provocation, but I decided not to buy into it today.
そうだな。俺に合わせてふざけてただけなんだよな。
Keiichi answered for us.
でも本当はこんなにもしっかり者。偉い偉い。
本当に褒めてますの？
Yeah, you're being a little weird, Keiichi.
なんだかバカにされてるような。
俺は全然バカにしてないぞ。真面目に褒めてる。バカにしてるときはリカちゃんも一緒に撫でるからな。
それもそうですわね。リカは人を小バカにするときよく頭を撫でますものね。
Rika, you're doing that in a condescending way. Oh.
缶詰のイワシさんが美味しいのですよ。
Oh, Rika is probably my favorite character, though. Rika-chan went neat by star, and her smile became even brighter. Her attitude was clear as day, but it was annoyingly cute. So both Satoko and I suddenly burst into laughter. Man, these fish are good. The laughter lightened up the table. The table itself is so dull and simple that I never even thought people could be laughing like this around it. And then, I finally came to realize something really obvious.
笑いながら食べる食事って美味しいよな。
True.
もちろんなのですよ。笑いはご飯を美味しくするのです。失礼ですわね。ご飯が美味しいのは私のお料理が美味しいからに決まってますわよ。
This harmonious moment, this happy circle, it was completely different than spending time with family, but still somehow nostalgic.
サトコはニーニーに会いたいか？
ニーニーなんて言ってませんですわ。
You definitely did. And Rika
呼
ratted
び
you
な
out.
さいですわ。
Hey, wait. You've been saying Nini this, Nini that the whole time. I grinned wryly and decided to call him brother like she told me to.
サトコは兄貴に会いたいか？
Rika-chan stopped eating, then looked back and forth between my face and Satoko's. Satoko was smiling. She looked like she was trying to choose her words. Just from that, Satoko conveyed her feelings. Honestly, she wished he would come home right now. But she wasn't that weak. Satoshi should just do what he wanted until he was satisfied. In return, she'd let him have the scolding of his lifetime. And then she'd have dinner with him and lay out his futon for him.
会いたいかと言われれば、もちろん会いたいに決まってますわね。もうすぐで1年になりますもの。
It's been that long already. Rika-chan smiled thinly, her eyes appearing to look far away.
まあ、ニーニーの好きにすればいいのですわ。少しでも生活力を身につけて、たくましくなって帰ってきてくれれば、私の負担も軽くなるわけですし。
He actually ran away so he could get jacked at the gym. Definitely.
ほら、またニーニーって言った。
言いましたですね。言ってませんわよ。
Uh-oh, I'm sorry, Satoko, but we got the log here. Boom, you said it. Caught in 4K. I did not!
ニーニーのことをニーニーなんて言いませんわよ。
Whoops. You bet all the Oreos in your house have one pack that Satoshi is dead. Oh, let's be maybe optimistic. Oh wait, this is a horror game. Things rapidly returned to the usual lively atmosphere of lunchtime at school. But nothing changed about Satoko's feelings towards her brother. She was living so bravely, and so strongly. Hey, Satoshi. Your sister's trying so hard to watch the place while you're gone, isn't she? Isn't she bunking with Rika? Did I miss something? Like, they were 100% living together in Chapter 2. In Chapter 3, the thing that's different is Satoko owns real estate. Maybe that's what it is. Give it a rest and come back soon, got it?
さとこ、そろそろお片付けをしないとお眠になる時間なのです。
Technically, the rule in my house was whoever makes dinner doesn't have to do the dishes. Unless you're the only person in the house. It was when we were all watching TV while enjoying some tea after dinner. Who made the tea? Rika. Rika-chan let out a big yawn and then spoke. Satoko and I both looked at the clock and noticed how late it had gotten. No, perhaps we both realized it already. We just didn't want the warm moment to end. Maybe we didn't want to say anything.
いけませんわね。
What is with that smile? Oh no! Wow. Exactly.
まだ食器を洗っていませんでしたわ。
Looks like you'll have to do it. That's fair, honestly.
いいよそんなの。それくらい俺がやっておくよ。飯をごちそうになって食器まで洗わせるわけにはいかないよ。
Keiichi understands the golden rule.
本当に大丈夫ですの？
I can't burn down the house doing the dishes. 2 hours later.
慣れない人が洗うとお皿とか洗剤で滑って落としちゃいますわよ。
Gee, she's turned into a perfect nagging little sister. It was charming and awkward. Emotions like that were all mixed up inside me. I gave her a vague, dry smile.
圭一だってお皿くらい洗えますですよ。割ったお皿で怪我をしたら明日学校でかわいそしてあげますです。
Okay, Rika, let's not make this a weird thing, alright? It's gonna be very hard to explain to the principal why I, a 16-year-old, guy is getting petted by a 12-year-old girl. I don't really want to have to explain that one.
わー
Your house rule, clean your own dish and rock, paper, scissors for washing the cooking pot? I guess that's another way. In my house growing up, like, my mom kind of had the rule. She usually did all the cooking, but her rule is like, hey, if you want to cook dinner, you can cook what you like, and if you cook dinner, you don't have to do any of the dishes. And that's why me and all my siblings are very good at cooking. Rika-chan yawned again, so wide you could see her molars. I don't want to see that CG. Rika, close your mouth, jeez.
本当に大丈夫ですの？圭一さんって見かけと違って随分と頼りない方でございますからね。
やれやれ。聡子の中の圭一株は大暴落みたいだな。安心しろ。皿くらいきっちりと洗ってみせるぞ。
I think we're ignoring a very key thing, Keiichi. We haven't made a bento yet, and I have a feeling that they're gonna be, hey, we did it to distract you, so you couldn't make a bento.
安心して帰れ。
And it's gonna ruin the sweet moment.
っていうか、こんな時間じゃ聡子たちだけに帰らせられないよな。
I was gonna say it's a small town, so it's probably safe, but I don't think the last 2 chapters really support that.
家まで送るよ。自転車の鍵を。
Your motorbike? Nope, just bicycle.
私たちを送った後、一人で家に帰るのは圭一さんではありませんの。
Yeah, but he's 16, and he's packing the heat.
夜道に迷って高津戸あたりに迷い込んだら大変ですわよ。あのあたりお家も明かりも全然ありませんから。
I was trying to worry. I was trying to worry about them going home, but I didn't think they'd be worried about me getting lost. Am I really that unreliable? She really is being critical, but yeah. This feeling I have, it's not bad. So I ended up not needing to escort them. I saw off Satoko and Rika-chan to the gate. Oh, I thought they were just going to stay over for the night. Thanks a lot for today.
おかげでとても文化的な夕飯にありつけたよ。
聡子が来なかったら今頃圭一はグーグーでニャーニャーだったのです。本当ですわね。本当来てよかったですわ。
They really saved me. I gave them another bow filled with gratitude.
そうそう。ご飯とおかずの残りをタッパーに詰めておきましたから、明日はそれをお弁当になさいませ。
Well, that would be cheating. We have to make our own.
あと明日の朝食は食パンとジャムがいいですわね。
Bread and jam. That's my jam, literally. Francis knows about that
い
too.
ちごジャムとピーナッツバターが冷蔵庫中段の右端にありましたわ。あと粉末ココアが食器棚の右上の戸の中に。
I memorized your kitchen layout. I know all that. You don't have to go into detail. I was about to say that, but I decided to humbly listen to her. It was then that I finally realized that Satoko, who had appeared to be in a bad mood, was in fact in a great one, just like Rika-chan had said. And that though she nagged a lot, she was very kind. I am liking Satoko a lot more in this
おや
chapter
す
than
み
in
な
the
さい
last
なの
two.
ですよ。寝る前にはちゃんと歯を磨くんですのよ。
Okay, he better not need to know about that.
5分以上かけてしっかりと磨きなさいませ。
You don't have to do it for 5 minutes, actually.
わかったよ、聡子。ちゃんと歯も磨くし、 明日の朝飯も用意する。弁当も忘れないようにするよ。
いつもより早めに起きないと朝食やお弁当の支度ができませんわよ。
Stop talking through your teeth! It's weird!
なんなら少し早いくらいの時間に目覚まし代わりに電話して差し上げましょうか。
そこまでしてくれなくても大丈夫だよ。目覚まし時計を少し早めにセットしておくことにする。ありがとな。いろいろと気にしてくれて。
Satoko looked like she had more fault-finding to do. But she stopped and, leaving me with a good night, got on her bike and disappeared down the nighttime road. Heh oh my god, the original art style is so weird. I get it, like, it was drawn by the programmer, from what I understand, so it makes sense these would be higher quality, but still, they're very goofy looking. It means Satoko will destroy us. Yep. Yep. I have a feeling that Satoko's gonna go crazy. You know, just as the running gag, or not gag, running theme. Rika-chan went to do the same, but then I remembered something and came back.
どうしたリカちゃん、忘れ物か？
今日の圭一は100点満点でした。パチパチパチなのです。
Rika-chan suddenly complimented me. She clapped her small hands. What was she on about?
別に褒められるようなことはしてないだろう。危うく自宅を火事にするところだったし。
Well, she's a bit of a pyromaniac, so.
さとこもきっとミーニーが帰ってきたような気がして、とても楽しかったと思いますです。
This better not turn into something weird, though.
たまにこれからもさとこのお小言に付き合ってあげてほしいのですよ。
サトコに小言を言われる頼りない兄貴。サトシの代わりになってやれっていうことか？
Rika-chan didn't say anything. She just smiled and went all Nippa star.
サトシってさ、
Ooh, what a beautiful moon. This Satoshi person, I don't know about that.
こんなにもできた妹と一緒で何が不満だったんだ？
He probably wanted to be like, I want to move to the big city where there's all these opportunities. Then he goes to the big city. He's like, wait, the big city sucks. But I can't go back now.
俺がサトシだったら絶対に家出なんかしないぞ。
Yeah, Rika definitely plays up her like, oh whoa, she's so cute, like to take advantage of people. Like she's definitely uses that to her advantage. And she's a lot. She knows way more than she lets on, I think. She got all serious in chapter 2 where she's just like, leave everything to me, and then everything went to hell.
サトシにはサトシなりの事情があったのです。きっと。
I don't know what he was unhappy with. But whatever the reason, it was no excuse for abandoning Satoko.
早く帰ってくるといいな。俺じゃ多分本物のニーニーの代役はいつまでも務まらないぜ。
大丈夫ですよ。今日の圭一はサトシそっくりだったのです。またお願いしますなのですよ。
If that's what makes Satoko happy. I'd take on this easy role whenever I needed to.
リーカー
Satoko stopped her bike under a distant exterior light and called out to her friend, who wasn't coming no matter how long she waited.
では僕はもう行きますですよ。おやすみなさいなのです。
ああ、おやすみ。
僕ではサトシの代わりをできませんが、圭一ならできます。これで僕も心の荷が一つ下りましたのですよ。
Yeah, look at that. One less piece of baggage she needs to shoulder. It feels like she's carrying a lot of stuff, I think, inside. And I'm gonna be very interested for what unfolds in the Rika chapter. Well, there we go. Bye. Leaving me with that, Rika-chan sped off on her bike. Rika, slow down! She rode up next to Satoko, and then the two of them disappeared in the blink of an eye.
サトシ、本当に早く帰ってきてやれよな。あんまり帰りが遅かったら。
I'll punch you right in the nose. I'm gonna pop you right in the lip. Let's try our best until that day comes, Satoko. Even if I can no longer hear the sounds of the bicycles. I stood there for a while, seeing them off. That was a very nice set of scenes. I actually very enjoyed that. I just hope the whole older brother thing doesn't get really weird. New tips unlocked! Satoko's Trap Course Elementary. Okay. You're on fire! Attempted cooking. I love it. Ooh. Ominous music. Satoko's Trap Course is really creepy.
俺が保証する。サトコならこの山で籠城して一個師団相手くらいなら十分にあしらえるに違いない。
私は知ってるよ。サトコはとある国の特殊部隊に招聘されてトラップの訓練教官をやってたんだ。そんな変な話はいいから誰か助けて。
What is going on? How did it come to this? What traps did we fall for, and how did we fall for them? Mion was caught in a profusely thin pitfall that she couldn't escape from, and only her head was poking above the ground. Rena's head was completely covered by a tin bucket. She was squirming around in a vain attempt to remove it. Either of these were really funny, but that's where it ended. At least they had their feet on the ground.
ケイちゃんの方はどう？抜けられそう？早く抜け出しておじさんを助けてよ。
抜け出して助けるのはミオンの方だ。このスマッキ状態の俺に何をしろと言うんだ。
What does she do? What is Satoko doing? I was wrapped up in a bamboo mat and hanging 2 meters above the ground. Ah, what was this trap and how did I fall into it? Huh? It was Satoko. This all started when they suggested that I was unfamiliar with nature, having grown up in the city, and proposed a little exploration on the mountain. That sounds fun.
でもレナもよく裏山は知らないよ。レナじゃ迷子になっちゃう。はあ、裏山ね。小さい頃はよく遊んだけど、ここ何年かはさっぱりだな。あそこ道を誤るとかなりデンジャラスに迷うんだよな。裏山なら私たちにお任せですわよ。山が丸ごと私とリカの遊び場なんですも
That's
の。
my backyard. That'd be crazy having a mountain in your backyard.
おう、それは心強いな。じゃあここは二人の顔を立てて二人の道案内でハイキングと行こうじゃないか。
でもケイチ君、裏山は迷うから遊びに行っちゃいけないって夏休みのしおりにも書いてあるよ。
I don't care what the Junior Woodchuck's guidebook says. I'm going to the mountain.
まだ夏休みではありませんですから大丈夫なのですよ。僕たちが道を知っ裏山は昔から私たちの
You
遊び場
interrupted
でご
me,
ざいますの
Satoko.
で、岩も同然
That was rude.
抜け道近道までバッチリでございましたよ。
Okay, I will say, Rena and Rika look pretty good in this art style. Satoko looks a bit goofy. Oh, yuck. Yes, both Satoko and Rika-chan knew the path like the back of their hands. Thanks to them, we had our fill of fresh air, gorgeous views, and Mother Nature, the likes of which you could never see in the village. But the things got strange partway through.
そうそう皆さん、
Uh-oh, I don't like that smile.
ここからは私が歩いた足跡の通りに歩くんですわよ。
は？突然何を言い出すんだ？
おとなしくサトコの言うことを聞く方が身のためなのです。
You don't want to run into the Ewoks.
あれれ？ねえみーちゃん、ほらこれ。
I forgot about Rena's casual outfit.
なんだろうね。引っ張るのかな？かな？
Suddenly, squeak, crash. When Rena pulled the kite string, a bundle of bamboo spears fastened to a tree branch all came raining down with a clatter right next to where Rena was standing. I'm sorry?
何これ？何？
So that's who's been committing all the murders.
懐かしいのですよ。これは確か2年生の2学期にサトコが作ったトラップなのです。
Dude, she's prodigious at traps.
危なかったですわね。竹槍の先端には犬の糞が塗ってありますから。
What the heck, Satoko?
後で腐り出しますわよ。
Bruh, that's Evil? That's like a war crime, I'm pretty
いつ
sure.
からゲリラの戦場になったんだ。
According to the Satoko and Rika-chan, earlier in elementary school, Satoko had been on a trap-making craze and set them up along every inch of this mountain. Why?
喜一くん、ひょっとして裏山が立ち入り禁止なのは迷うからじゃなくて危ないからじゃない
The
のかな。
console sprites are growing on me, and I do like how they have like the actual moving mouths to lip sync, which is pretty cool. So I'll probably toggle. I usually toggle between the art styles, anyways. Mion and I just nodded wholeheartedly at Rena's hypothesis.
先を急ぎますわよ。早く戻らないと暗くなってしまいますわ。暗くなったら私だって危ないでございますからね。
But you're the one who brought us to this crazy mountain! Why was an average, healthy Japanese boy like me being forced to deal with this light and threatening booby traps? And then, the very moment Satoko and Rika-chan just barely got out of sight was when the three of us all got caught in nice little traps together.
誰か出して私おトイレに行きたいの。
The world is your bathroom.
そんなことより誰かこのバケツ取って。
Rena, you're in the least problematic predicament. You can just lift the bucket off your head.
前が見えない。
Just lift it off your head!
おいレナ、あんまり暴れるな。パンツが見えるぞ。
Okay, don't be creepy.
見た？
Well, maybe, okay, if you saw that easily, maybe she should be wearing either, you know, shorts underneath it or just wearing a longer skirt.
見た？ケイチコが見た。
Smash, crash, crash, hyper, combo KO!
見えてるだろ絶対。バケツや。ごほら。
Bucket Rena was using me as a sandbag and Mion was crying.
落とし穴から抜けられなくてかわいそうなのです。もう皆さん、だから言いましたでしょ。私から離れたらいけませんでしたよって。
I finally had an epiphany. Satoko had been so bent on taking everyone out to the mountain because she wanted to brag about all the traps she'd set up here over the years. You could have stopped at just showing them to us. I didn't need to experience how it felt firsthand. Rika-chan pets our free heads in sequence in an incredibly satisfied mood. Alright, Rika, there's no need for that. Oh boy, it's the day of reckoning.
さて、
Bent apocalypse. Let's go!
というわけで
So Toko's entire town would just be filled with pitfalls, pretty much. Or more elaborate traps. She's like, I modded the game so I could add more crazy stuff like that. So Toko would be the kind of person who would go to your Wild World town and place in, like, the secret items that create buildings and soft lock you in place. And be like, it's just a prank, bro.
いよいよお昼の時間が来たね。
Mion gleefully announced at the beginning of lunch. That sprite does not fit with the oh ho 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 ho.
いよいよお昼の時間でしたよ。この中の一人が罰ゲームになるんですわよね。
That sprite fits way more for the oh ho ho ho.
はあ、今日の罰ゲームはちょっと怖いからね。レナ、悪いけど思いっきり真剣に作ってきたよ。
Probably. In Rena's case, I don't think she'd lose even if she wasn't taking it seriously.
みー、僕たちもそれぞれに頑張りましたのですよ。
We put Wagyu A5 in here. What? Come on!
今日はさとこもリカちゃんもそれぞれに別々に作ってきた。いつもは2人一緒のお弁当だけど今日は一緒だと勝負にならないからね。
True.
そこは大丈夫ですのよ。リカも私もちゃんとそれぞれに用意させていただきましたのよ。わあ、さとこちゃんもリカちゃんも頑張ったんだね。楽しみ楽しみ。
ちょっと意外だったのはケイちゃんがちゃんとお弁当を用意できたからか
Alright,
な。
let's stop you mean, Mion.
ケイちゃんもさすがやればできるみたいじゃない。
I scratched my head and gave her a dry smile. My bento today had been made entirely by Satoko last night. It had none of my personality, so there wasn't anything in there that they could praise me for.
ケイチ君のお弁当はどんなだろう。はう、楽しみ。
そんな大したものじゃないから期待するなよ。夕べのご飯のお惣菜の残りが詰めてあるだけだし。
Well, you can, add some sex appeal, man.
お夕食の残り物はお弁当の
just
基
gotta
本
talk it
なの
up.
ですよ。
Leftovers are the foundation of bentos. Wise words from 12-year-old
夕べ
Rika.
のケイチさんのお夕食も分かって一石二鳥ですわね。
Was it really better to hide the fact that Satoko came over and made dinner last night? Well, of course it was. If I revealed that I didn't make my own bento, I'd be sure to end up playing the punishment game. Today's punishment game was to stand right in front of the curry maniac Chi-sensei and say bad things about curry. It wasn't too different from telling someone to jump out of a 100-story window. It was exactly the same as telling someone to die.
でもみーちゃん、今日のお弁当勝負ってどうやって勝敗をつけるのかな。
We need an impartial judge. Greg from the Wiggles
ケイチ
will
君
be
もちゃんと作って
judging.
これたんだから、今日はこれで
No fruit
引き
salad.
分けで決
0
着
out
なん
of
じゃない
10.
のかな。
You all lose. We get Gordon Ramsay. And it's like, Gordon Ramsay's like, this is terrible! What do you call this a bento? It's like, Gordon, you can't even make a competent grilled cheese sandwich. Ah! Donkey!
それもそうですわね。昨日の罰ゲームはケイチさんに自炊を促すための葉っぱみたいなものですし。ケイチもちゃんと作ってこれましたから引き分けなのですよ。
Well, technically I didn't make my own. My simple bento with last night's leftovers could never have stood up to everyone else's bento that they made to win. I fully understood Satoko and Rika-chan's concern for me as they tried to end the showdown peacefully. Mion ain't settling for that. However, the club president Mion Sonozaki would not be convinced by something like that.
何を甘っちょろいこと言ってるんだか。白黒つけない灰色勝負なんて絶対ごめん。ぶつかったら決着つけなきゃ。手打ちして引き分けなんてヤクザの世界だけなんだからね。
Oh no, not Yakuza.
言うと思ったぜ。勝負好きのミオンがこのまま終わらせるわけないよな。
This was bad. At this rate, I was sure to be the sole loser. But, well, I didn't make this bento after all. Maybe I need to resign myself to my inevitable loss.
ではみー、どうやって勝敗を決めますですか。
相互採点じゃ公平な採点にならないからね。
True.
ここは公開審査と行こうじゃない。
I think we need an impartial judge.
みんな全員集合。
Mion commanded everyone who had just started eating using her club president voice.
おじさんたち5人のお弁当を採点してもらうよ。ベスト3までを紙に書いて投票すること。いいかな。
Everyone in the class was used to being dragged into Mion's club activities. Yeah! Came the energetic voices from here and there. Everyone already knew that the showdown this time involved an utterly fatal punishment game, and they were all very interested to see what would happen to whoever lost. Of course, they wanted the thrill of seeing something terrifying.
ではみんないいかな。まずは私から行くよ。それ。
In exaggerated fashion, Mion pulled the lid off of her multi-tiered, ornate bento box. No CG, boo. Multiple cheers of joy erupted at the brilliant sight.
すごいですわね。おせち料理みたいでしたよ。
嘘だ。嘘に決まってる。こんなのどこかの仕出し弁当の中身を移し替えただけに違いない。
She's also like the head of like the really powerful Yakuza family, so she probably could just be like, you, make a fancy bento for me. I gotta win my gaming club there. As you wish, Miss Sonozaki.
こんな純日本風な料理をミオンがあの園崎ミオンが作れるわけがない。
みーちゃん、このくらいは本気になれば作れるよ。
What?
めったに本気にならないけど。
Alright, you smug little prick.
おじさんを誰だと思ってるわけ。時間と材料があるなら満館全席だって再現してみせるよ。
How much you want to bet? The entire classroom gulped audibly, and everyone wrote down a score on the notepad, paper in their hands simultaneously. It made sense. Just the visual impact would give her a perfect score.
じゃあ次はレナのお弁当行ってみようか。レナもかなり料理は得意だからね。
I love the
レ
person
ナのお
shredding
弁
on the
当
piano.
はいつも食卓の花なのですよ。
Nope, today it's an airplane.
みんなありがとね。じゃあレナのお弁当も交代
Mion's
す
gotta
る
be
ね。
good at everything.
えい。
I'm disappointed we're not getting CGs, or at least images of what their bentos look like. Wasted opportunity. Rena's bento was a beautiful mix of 2 colors of eggs and minced meat, and it too was a bento staple. I like that minced meat. The Soboro bento. She'd been thorough with the side dishes as well, and they were abundant in number. She'd spent more time than usual on it, but it was unassuming and truly nonchalant. One couldn't ignore the household warmth that in it that Mion's bento lacked.
さすがですわね。これは高得点が期待できましたよ。
Even just reading the descriptions, though, I'm getting hungry. It's probably because I ate a
さすが。
light dinner.
厳しめに見ても減点の余地は全くないね。相変わらず見事。
Once again, every one of the judges wrote a score on their note paper at the same time. There seemed to be some who were revising their opinions when they compared it to Mion's score, too. The whole classroom seemed split between Mion and Rena. And on everyone's face, it was clear that they all wanted to be tasting them rather than scoring them. Wait,
では続いて
oh,
僕
they're
たち
just
なのです
ranked. They're just scoring it based on how it looks. They're not actually eating it. Well, that won't do. I guess it's like it's their lunch. So I get why they're not eating it, but still, judging something by appearance only is not fair.
では公開するでございますわよ。
Come to think of it, Satoko and Rika-chan ate with me last night at my house. It was impressive that they still made a bento. Unless she's using the exact same stuff that he did, and he's gonna be like, you cheated! Ah! Both their bentos were clearly lacking compared to Mion's artfulness and Rena's perfection. However, because of that, you could sense from them just how hard they worked. The toppings were a little on the rough side, but you could still feel that they were tried their hardest. It made you feel a little biased, so that you'd have to give them more points. A few people struck by just that once again. A few people struck by just that once again revised their opinions and wrote in scores on their notepaper. That's a weird sentence. That's a very weirdly worded sentence.
サトコもリカちゃんもよく今日のお弁当を用意できたもんだな。レナやミオンの出来には確かに劣るかもしれないけど、それを考えるとかなりすごいことだぜ。
Satoko and Rika-chan glanced at each other and grinned happily.
実は内緒でございますのよ。こにょこにょこにょこにょ。
Oh no, konyo, konyo, konyo. Eh. What? When Satoko told me, I broke off from the others and secretly looked for my classmates' bento boxes. There, Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun's bento boxes. I took a quick peek inside and... half the contents were missing! Not bad. In the end, Satoko and Rika-chan hadn't made bento today. A bold move. They got Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun to share their bentos with them. Oh, those are the 2 kids who were crushing on them, weren't they?
おい、富田君、岡村君、何を条件に買収された？
いきなり何ですか、前原さん。私たちがいつ何を買収されたって言うんですか。
These kids got game.
そうっすよ。別にサトコたちに水やり当番を代わってもらうくらいで弁当を半分なんか。
Okay, no. Because I remember these 2 kids actually had an art style, I think, in the console version, but not in the Steam version. Curse you, Satoko. What an impudent trick. Satoko grinned, showing her fang-like canines, and laughed in triumph.
あら、これはケイチさんに学ばせてもらった技ですのよ。
It's true, you absolutely pulled the same thing, Keiichi.
なのです。
How naive. Buying them out with watering duty alone. They're men. If you're going to buy them out, you need to use something a lot spicier than that. For example, like giving them 3 tickets to walk Satoko and Rika-chan around like dogs all day, with them on all 4s wiring tails with leashes around their necks. You are disgusting. Whoa, that might be enough to get me to do anything. You are disgusting. As I was lost in my wild fantasies, Mion clapped me on the shoulder and called me back to reality. Damn, it was just getting good. You are disgusting. I can't believe I had to read that out.
次はいよいよケイちゃんのお弁当だね。ケイちゃんの昨日の予告だとかなりのものが期待されるけど。 実際はどうなのかな。
ケイチくんってやるときにはやる人だからね。レナ、今日はとっても楽しみにしてたんだよ。だよ。
I genuinely don't think I know how old Rika and Satoko are. I thought they were around 12. I thought like Keiichi, Mion, and Rena are in high school, along with like Satoshi. I thought that like Rika, Satoko, and then the two guys over there were like in middle school, and then the rest were like elementary school. Could be wrong about that. They're all looking forward to it. But it's really just leftovers from dinner last night. I didn't even make it either. How is that supposed to stand up to Mion and Rena and the others?
もう焼けだ。見て驚くなよ。
I tore the lid off my bento box. There weren't very many cheers. Well, I guess there wouldn't be.
ケイチくんも精一杯頑張ったんだね。レナはその頑張りわかるよ。
レナ、無理に褒めなくていいぞ。
どんな具合ですの？ケイチさんにしては頑張ってる方ですの？
Alright, Mion. You can wipe that smug look off your face.
まあその頑張りは認めてあげたいけどね。勝負は非情だしね。
That's literally a Wicked Witch cackle right there. Mion's cold, mean laugh. It was like it spoke for everyone's opinion, just like that.
ケイチくん、初挑戦なのにこんなに上手に作れたんだよ。みんなもっともっと評価してあげてもいいと思うんだけどな。でも勝負は非情なのです。
さーてケイちゃん、採点結果を集計する前に何か申し開きがあるなら聞い
Is
て
he
おくけど。
gonna bullcrap, talk his way out of this like he did in the curry contest?
申し開きってなんだよ。
ケイちゃんがここで何かを訴えることでわずかな得点加算が望めるかもしれないってこと。
Extra credit, come on.
何しろ今日の勝負はビリでさえなければいいんだから。
Oh, is that how it's gonna be? Mion bought hers from the store. Oh, no, I didn't. They just
な
have to
ん
think
と
you
か
did.
罰ゲームから逃れることができるかもよ。
It's the politics game. You can just talk your mouth off.
それって兄、ケイチさんのお弁当がビリって言ってるのと同じことでしたよ。
別におじさん、誰の弁当がビリなんて言ったつ
You
もりはないん
definitely
だけどな。
insinuated that, Mion. Don't you even get started. Mion cackled repulsively. I don't think you're in any position to talk about someone being repulsive or not, Mr. Keiichi. In contrast, Satoko's smile was growing somehow awkward. Oh, right. This bento was filled with last night's side dishes. That means it was basically a bento that Satoko made. And Mion outright said it would come in last place.
みーちゃん、ちょっと意地悪だよ。
Don't do it there, Keiichi.
ケイチくんがかわいそう。
レーナー、ケイちゃんも今日の弁当勝負は負けられないってあらかじめ知ってたんだよ。それを承知で昨日あれだけの大見栄を切ったんだからさ、甘やかす必要なんて全然ないと思うけどな。
She does have a point. He was very
ねえ、
braggadocio yesterday.
ええ、そうですわね。それでこのざまなんですから笑っちゃいましたよ。ちょっとさとこちゃん、
She's like, Brenna knows.
笑うなんていけないんだよ。だってちゃんちゃらおかしくて笑ってしまうようなお弁当でしたよ。こんなお惣菜屋さんで買ってきたようなおかず、本当に幻滅もいいところでしたよ。
Satoko, you're telling on yourself.
ほら、これなんか缶詰を開けただけだよね。
Hey, canned food has a place in the world. It's fine.
こっちのキュウリは包丁が通ってなくて綺麗に切れてないし。ケイちゃん、包丁とか全然扱ったことないでしょ。
Mom doesn't let me use
経
knives.
験不足が明らかなんだよね。
ええ、経験不足もいいところでございましたよ。
彩りもかなり単調。こればかりはセンスのなさに呆れるね。
I'm a guy. I care if it tastes good. You also forget, Mion, the best food is free food. Always.
そりゃ弁当箱に食い物を詰めるなんて初めての経験だし、多少見栄えが悪いのは仕方が。
ケイちゃん弁当箱への詰め方以前のレベルなの。富田、岡村、解説。
Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun were chosen from our many underclassmen. Really? How convenient! Tomita-kun quickly adjusted his glasses and took a step forward.
前原さんのお弁当に致命的な欠点、それは彩りなんです。ご存知の通り、あらゆる色彩の根底には三原色と呼ばれる配色が存在します。
How fascinating.
つまりバランスよく配色を求めるなら、白、黒を除いても3色は必要なのです。
しかるに前原さんのお弁当は白黒を除いた場合、暗緑色しか残らないんですよ。
Well, we didn't remove the white and black, so... dark green. No one will want to eat it if you describe it like that. What do you mean? Dark green is the color of several vegetables. I had forgotten. Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun had been bought out by Rika-chan and Satoko, so they were trying their hardest to let them win and make me lose, weren't they? God, what strong wills they have. It was charming, if only because they were working so hard despite having been bought out.
おかずも心のこもらないお惣菜や缶詰ばかり。
つまり前原さんのお弁当には
Alright,
お弁当の三大要
there's
素、
no need for that.
愛、心、味のうち2つも欠けていると断言できるのです。
Rude! The classroom, convinced by the elucidation of the mystery that they were thoroughly baffled with, raised mysterious groans of admiration.
愛もなければ心もない。決まったね。前原圭一。
ちょっと冷たいけど、でもこれを機に圭一くんもお料理の楽しさに気づいてくれればいいのかな。
Rena really just said the real treasure was the friends we made along the way.
そんなことより罰ゲームが僕以外なら何でもいいのですよ。
See, like this, or like Rika has this like very like cutesy way of speaking and like this like very young voice, but she's saying these like very cutting things. Rena was giving a dry smile as well.
決まりましたわね、圭一さん。罰ゲームは圭一さんで決まりですのよ。
She laughed in such a vile manner, but she didn't look like she meant it. I knew that Satoko was speaking ill of a bento that she'd practically made herself in front of the whole classroom, and I could tell how painful that laughter was. Okamura-kun had said that the bento lacked spirit, but among all the bento laid out here today, there wasn't a single one with as much spirit as this one. This meal that she had made for me yesterday in such a good mood, though it looked like she was in a bad one. I won't let it end with this slander.
さて、ビリの圭一さん、そろそろおとなしく負けを認めなさいませ。
ちょっと待ってもらおうか。
We're done when I say we're done. When I began to speak in a low voice, the expressions of all the members of the club changed. Mion clicked her tongue. This man was burying his fangs at the last moment again.
俺の弁当の敗因は心がないから。そういう解説だったな。間違いないな、岡村君。
Okamura-kun, who had suddenly been placed in the spotlight, looked flustered for a moment, but immediately he stammered in reply that I was right.
心の定義は何だ？黒か。
This is one of the greatest CGs. Oh my gosh. This is fantastic. It's like Ace Attorney before it was Ace Attorney. This is so good. Actually, wait, they may have made the CG after Ace Attorney. Look at... Okay, I don't know what's better. Keiichi's objection pose, Mion's like, he's doing it, Rena's shock, or Rika. Look at Rika's face! Oh my gosh, that is the smuggest smile I've ever seen on like a middle school, elementary school girl. What the heck?
努力か？汗か涙か？
This is phenomenal.
その結晶か？ならば、俺の手に残るこの火傷は、なん？
圭一くん、それ油が跳ねたやけど
Mion's bobblehead, yeah. Great, the burn marks from when I almost caused a fire yesterday looked like I was having a ton of trouble cooking. I could clearly tell the classroom was forced to acknowledge the effort I put into it.
自らの料理の下手さによる失敗をさも努力の痕跡であるかのように見せるとは、やはりこの男油断ならない。
そうだ、俺は下手だ。昨日大見えを切ったのが情けなくなるくらいに料理は下手だ。だが逃げなかった。戦った。そしてこの成果を出した。
But your bento still sucks.
それは心じゃないのか。どうなんだ。
レナは認めてあげたいな。挑戦する心が評価されなかったら誰も前に進めない。
The girls in the class started to nod in agreement. Okay, these tables are turning. But Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun, brought out by the objects of their unrequited affection, weren't about to lose either. They shifted to the counterattack, clearly exceeding the price they were paid.
なるほど、前原さんの気持ちはわかります。ですがね、心だけで料理が決まるんだったらこの世にコックはいる。
そうっすよ。心を込めて頑張りましたって言ってコックが消し炭みたいなハンバーグを持ってきたら、それにお金を払
Spirit,
い
it
ます？
means nothing. That is a buzzword.
払わないですよね。
True.
つまりそういうことなんです。
That's right, that's how it goes. The male students took Tomita and Okamura's side. God, they did have a point.
でも
Yeah, they
心
did.
尽くしなんだぞ。たとえ真っ黒のハンバーグが出てきたにせよ、それを作ってくれた母の苦労を知るなら俺は食う。
If I go to a restaurant and I pay for a steak and it's completely black, I don't care the struggles of the person who made it. If I paid for a steak that was cooked to a certain doneness, I want the steak cooked to that certain doneness.
完食してみせる。
Clap, 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 clap. This time the female students in the class took my side. Good. Now we're even.
そもそもお弁当というのは愛情を食事の形として昇華させたもので、
それは相手に伝わって初めて意味があるんです。前原さんのお弁当からはそれが伝わりますか？いいえ、僕には伝わりません。
Okay, okay.
痛い。
The girls. Uh-oh. Those two guys are definitely not in a good spot now. The girls in the class began. The girls in the class began to boo loudly at his remark. Now even Okamura-san was panicking.
ああ、静粛に静粛に。傍観人は発言を慎むように。
Where's the teacher in all this?
裁
She's
判
like,
長、
oh man, the class president and her entourage are being weird again.
俺はここでこの弁当にどれだけの心が込められているかについて料理学の権威竜宮レナ氏の証言を求めます。
This is Ace Attorney now.
えっと
You got this, girl.
レナはこのお弁当には心がこもってると思うな。確かに稚拙なところは多いかもしれないけど。
Yes, true. I agree, DX.
でもお料理は上辺だけじゃないと思うの。
Brennan knows. If we judged cooking purely based on outward appearances, nobody would go to barbecue restaurants. But barbecue restaurants are some of the best in the entire world. The girls in the class again gave cries of support as they all applauded. This whole fiend. Just realized this entire fiend is basically us like appealing specifically to the women's emotions to win. It's like U.S. elections. Oh wait. In response, all the men in the class began to boo. See, the men are based. They're like, bro, it's about the taste, and you're suck, okay?
前原さんと竜宮さんの意見は極めて感情的で一般常識としてかけ離れています。
Yes, true.
採用するには不適切です。
静粛に静粛に。検察側の反証を認めます。どうぞ。
例えば本件をお弁当ではなく誕生日のプレゼントだと置き換えて考えてみます。
Okay, but it's not.
例えば誕生日の日に私富田が手編みのセーターをもらったとする。そして彼岡村は図書券を1万円分もらったとする。
Damn, $1,000. That felt strangely real. Was it actually just an example, or maybe it was $100?
常識的に考えて どちらに心がこもっているかは明白です。つまり手編みのセーター。
Yep.
これはお弁当に言い換えれば手作りのおかずが相当する。そして単なる金券に過ぎない図書券はお金で買うもの、すなわち無味簡素な缶詰に相当する。
I'm not really getting the point you're trying to make. The boys and girls all began to argue amongst themselves about presents. They were all talking about what they'd received as presents in the past. Damn! Tomita-kun, he changed the subject to something he could easily grab everyone's attention with. Not bad. I'll lose the initiative at this rate.
意義あり。本件はお弁当の心について問うものです。
I can't believe I just heard Iyari in this game.
誕生日のプレゼントという特殊な状況とは全く異なります。
却下します。検察側続けなさい。
Damn!
さて、ここで大事なのは送り手の心と受け手の心は全く違うという点です。皆さんの目の前に実際に手作りのちょっと左右の丈の崩れてるセーターと1万円分の図書券が置かれていて、どっちがいいと聞かれたら図書券でしょう。1万円ですよ、1万円。コミックスが何冊買えるか計算できますか？
Yeah, that's a point. When does Godot come in with the magical coffee? I wish.
十数巻程度の単行本なら即座にフルコンプ可能です。愉快で面白おかしい漫
Will you
画が
stop
何
making
十
earthquakes
冊
in here, Okamura?
これによって癒される心の至福とセーターでは比べ物にならないのです。
But if it was a choice between a $100 bookstore gift card and a hand-knitted sweater for my girlfriend, I would take the hand-knitted sweater for my girlfriend because that would mean I would have a girlfriend. The boys unanimously praised that with applause. Materialistic brats. But all guys that age are like that. Even I would choose the gift certificate over the sweater in that case. Hey, wait, weren't you guys the ones who said it was about love, spirit, and taste right at the start? Since when did taste trump all? That's the stance they were taking now.
以上より
That's what I was
送り
getting
手の
confused
心と
about.
受け手の心には何の因果関係もないことが立証されたと思います。つまり前原さんがどれだけ苦労してお弁当を作ろうとも、それは私たち受け手が採点に手心を加えるものにはなり得ないのです。
それは詭弁だぞ、富田君。
Yeah, I like it. Feels like each chapter we get more emphasis on the side characters, which, I mean, that usually happens, and I like it.
心は確かにある。それが伝わるかどうかは受け手の問題だ。
そうよそうよ。味が全てだ。
女の敵。
Alright, that's going pretty far, girls.
なんだと？
Yep. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We're gonna turn the entire class of young girls into hardcore fifth-wave feminists. We better stop this right now. Now the courtroom is in chaos! But I can't allow myself to lose. And not only to avoid the punishment game, but also to protect Satoko's honor. I
さて
do appreciate he's not throwing Satoko under the bus for this.
弁護側は今のに何か反論はある？
Slowly and strongly, I nod and step up to the die. Tomita-kun, Okamura-kun, do you two really think you can beat me with mere words? Who's throwing these bolas around?
今検察側は送り手の心とは無関係に評価が行われると言いました。それに間違いはありませんね。
At some point I began speaking formally.
そうです。前原さんがどんなに苦労して作ったお弁当でもその苦労は評価の対象にはなり得ない。
では検察側に尋ねます。私前原が今日の自分の弁当としてこのお弁当とコンビニ弁当を並べたらその評価はどちらも同じものなのですか？
Prosecution hesitated to speak. Got you!
そう、手作りの弁当とコンビニ弁当では全くどんなにひどい手作り弁当であってもただ買ってきただけのコンビニ弁当とでは 比べ物にならないほどの心が込められている。そしてそれは評価されている。つまり手作りによる心はちゃんと受け手に伝わってるのです。それを認めよ
う。Boom! With those impactful words drawn into the air behind me, I pointed my finger. He's been playing too much Ace Attorney. The girls, led by Rena, broke into applause. Some of the boys were admitting it too.
認めます。
認めましたね。認めましたね。では次にコンビニ弁当にはなぜ心がないかについて移りましょう。そもそも弁当で伝える心とは何なのか。
意義あり。前原さんは抽象
意義あり
表現で法廷を煙に巻こうとしています。
却下します。面白そうだから最後まで聞くように。
Got him. Now I'll show you two the difference between us.
裁判長、ここでフルでリカシを証人として喚問したいと思います。
This is a great Ace Attorney DLC case. Even for Iga-chan, that must have seemed like a bolt from the blue. There's no doubt that she never dreamed the point of my spear would be aiming at her. But Rika-chan, you said it before. For this showdown, it doesn't matter. That's what Sonic taught us.
フルでリカさん、あなたの今日のお弁当は実によくできていますね。美味しそうです。
That's an oh crap smile. Yes. Satoko and Rika-chan's bentos had been made of half of Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun's. The prosecutors' faces turned pale, but they were too late.
レナ、岡村くんの弁当箱を持ってきてくれないか。
いいよ。
裁判長、本件に僕のお弁当は何の関係もありません。
却下します。
Mion's enjoying this.
裁判長、
She's like, I know
岡
mine's
村
not
くん
gonna
の弁当
lose.
箱を証拠見よ。この中身を。
ん半分しか入っていないね。
半分かどうかじゃないでしょう。もっとよく見てください。ほら。
全く同じ内容だ。
裁判長、見ての通りです。フルでリカシのお弁当
Never mind,
は
he is kind of throwing the one
岡
under
村
the
くん
bus.
の盗品。そんなものに心がこもってるわけがない。
Well, it's a different kind of spirit.
いや、これは単なる偶然で。
もう明白でしょう。心とは送り手と受け手のキャッチボールならば、弁当箱はボールに当たるのです。そして本来このお弁当は彼、岡村くんの母親から息子に託されたものだから、この弁当箱に詰まった心は彼。それを割り込んで奪ったら、もうそれに心はないのです。
Dun dun dun! Yay! That did it!
あれ、そうなの？リカちゃん、そうなの？
You know, if Satoko hadn't told us in confidence about how they did that, we would have been screwed.
みー
Bad Rika.
みぱ
なるほどね。
And the loser is Mion. What? Mion, the judge, folded her arms and began to hum. I couldn't even take a guess as to what Mion was laughing about. Frankly, I didn't know whether I would win or lose.
よし、判決の前に主文からにしようかね。
Wait, Mion gets to decide who the winner is, and she's a participant? Well, that seems kind of unfair. Shh. The entire classroom quieted.
まず被告前原圭一の弁当が客観的評価として非常に出来の悪いものであるのは間違いない。
That's not very nice.
それはこうしてみんなの採点の集計結果が物語ってるからね。
Gah!
でもケイちゃんの言う通り、料理は味だけじゃない。
Taste and texture are the two big ones. though.
心もまた隠し味として認められるべきだよね。
No.
でもそれは得点評価で言えば小数点以下。本当に微細なもので、その出来具合の評価を改めるには至らない。
Gah!
さて、ここでそもそもの今日の弁当勝負の原点を探りたい。そもそも今日の勝負は何が大前提なのか。
Yeah,
そ
literally.
う、 被告前原圭一が自炊できるか否かが問題になり、その成果を測るために催されたものだった。
But we didn't.
そうだよ。圭一くんはちゃんと作ってきたよ。
Nope. That stunned my conscience a bit. But for the showdown, it didn't matter.
ならばこの勝負の大前提は自炊、すなわち手作りであるか否かだよね。でもリカちゃんはそれを怠ったとなると、それは出来以前の問題、すなわち失格ってことになるのかな。
ニパ
Rika-chan let out a nipa, looking as though she had prepared herself for this outcome.
悪く思うなよリカちゃん。部活は非常なのだ。
さすが圭一なのです。
I'll get you for this later.
最後の最後まで頑張りましたですよ。
Rika-chan demanded I lower her head, then she pet it. It's very
と
weird.
いうわけでこれにて一件落着。今日のビリはフルでリカ。
Technically, Satoko did the same, but technically, Satoko actually made a bento. I guess in our defense, like Rena and Mion actually made their own bentos and they were good. Satoko basically made a bento for us and it wasn't good. We didn't really make a bento, we just kind of reused what Satoko had. And then Rika didn't actually do it at all. So yeah, I guess that does make sense that Rika would lose. That miraculous turnaround! More like turnabout. And last place went to Rika-chan, to the one everyone at least suspected. The entire classroom went wild!
よくもこんなひどいお弁当でビリを免れましたのね。
Let's be nice now, Satoko. Satoko looked at me hatefully, but spoke in a vague kind of voice.
ビリになんかなるわけないだろ。この弁当のどこにビリになる要素があるってんだ。
だってこんな出来の悪いお惣菜や缶詰ばかりでセンスもなくて。
It has no style. It has no grace. Grab! Satoko was speaking more and more poorly of herself as time went on, so I roughly grabbed her head and began to stroke it. That's pretty weird, especially to do in the classroom.
だろ、心が大事だって。この弁当は上辺だけじゃない。いろんな味に溢れてるんだぜ。
でも心だけじゃありませんのよ。お味なんて全然変で。
どこが変なんだ。俺はうまい。うまかった。
You know what's the best part about it? The hunger. Hunger's the best seasoning.
だから詰めてきた。本当に夕べの飯がまずかったら詰めてなんか来ないぞ。食パンと牛乳パックを持って登校してくる。
でも
Oh, just shut up already. I caressed her head, swinging it from side to side. It's very weird we're doing this right in front of everybody. Actually, it's just pretty weird we're doing this at all. At some point, Rena had come up behind us. Hey! She was giggling to herself. That was the face of someone who had known everything from the beginning.
いつ頃から俺が作ったんじゃないって気づいてた。
圭一くんがやけどを見せてくれた時かな。だって圭一くんのお弁当に油で炒めるおかずなんか入ってないし。
Everyone was too stupid to notice.
レナさんは何か誤解してるではございませんの？私は別に何も。あれ？このお弁当、さとこちゃんが作ったんじゃないんだ。じゃあやっぱり圭一くんの手作りなのかな。うん。じゃあ圭一くんの手作りなんだね。
Rena smiled roughly and turned from Satoko to me.
きゅうりとかを切るときは包丁をほらこんな感じで引くの。彩りなんかはね、お野菜を上手に加えるといろいろ表現ができるんだよ。
The lecture was clearly not meant for me.
でも前に見せてもらった時よりもずっと上達してたよ。ちゃんとお勉強してるんだね。きっとこの調子ならもっともっと上手にお料理が作れるようになるよ。
Yeah. He continued saying words clearly meant for Satoko while facing me instead. Satoko was wearing an ambiguous look and couldn't even nod her head at her.
とにかく誰が何と言おうと俺は今日の弁当を気に入ってるんだ。今日ばかりは誰にも分けないからな。俺が一人で全部食う。
ケチなんだ。レナも食べてみたいな。
As we were going back and forth, Satoko rubbed her eyes as though she was drowsy, then announced to Mion and everyone else.
私も実は富田さんにお弁当を分けてもらいましたの。
バカ。
Idiot!
工場、なんで言っちゃうんだよ。
If she kept it a secret, at least she would have been saved. Tomina-kun looked at her with an expression filled with regret and surprise.
そうだったの？ほんと？ありゃ。
Mion spun her finger around and then pointed to the hallway, sentencing Satoko to the punishment game as well. Satoko left the classroom behind her, completely prepared, as though she was going with Rika-chan on an errand.
理科だけに行かせられませんわ。地獄の底までお付き合いしましてよ。
That's very nice
そ
of
ん
you.
なとこまでついてこなくていいのですよ。まったくケイチさんも嫌味ですわね。理科だけを晒し者にするなんて本当に意地悪な人でございますこと。
I didn't mean... I couldn't just return Satoko's kindness with malice.
ね、本当にサトコはおバカさんなのですよ。
Rika-chan spoke so that only I could hear, grinning happily.
ではそろそろ行きましてよリカ。罰ゲームも部活メンバーの務めでございますわ。
Satoko seemed awfully happy, not frustrated in the slightest, like she always was when she lost. Damn. Rika-chan's right after all. Everyone here is a moron.
ミオ、俺も白状するぞ。今日の弁当は俺も同じだ。だから行ってくるぞ。罰ゲーム。
She's like... that is the face of just like... Why, bro? Why? Only 2 people actually did the game.
ケイちゃんまで？どうなってんの？
頑張ってね。罰ゲーム。救急箱を用意して待ってるからね。
Dang, the teacher's not gonna physically hurt us.
あらかじめ救急車の手配を頼む。場合によっては
I guess corporal punishment is a little more accepted back in the 80s. Leaving a bewildered Mion and a happily smiling Rena back in the classroom, I went into the hallway.
何やってるんですの？せっかく買ってたのに。わざわざ罰ゲームに名乗りを上げるなんて物好きにも程があるでございましたよ。
そうだな。物好きにも程があるぜ。
まったく今日の罰ゲームを甘く見すぎですのよ。私たちならともかくケイチさんじゃ大変なことになってしまうかもしれませんわね。
Nah, teacher's nice.
肋骨な1本や2本の覚悟は終わりでしょうね。
Teacher's not gonna be, like, sucker punching us.
肋骨は痛そうだな。俺、痛いのはダメな
I
んだ。
don't like to get hurt. No, really?
ケイチさんはおとなしく私の相槌を打っているんですのよ。私とリカでうまくやりますから。まったく罰ゲームの面倒まで私が見なくちゃダメなんて。まったく
Just like, excuse me, teacher, we really wanted to say that curry sucks. She's just like, I know what this is about. Just leave. I already knew that her pouty behavior was a sign she was actually in a really good mood. So it made me want to smile.
なあ、俺さ、野菜炒めが食いたいんだけど、さとこ作れるか？
まあ頑張ればできないことはありませんわよ。
He's just getting this girl to be like, hey, can you make my dinner for me? I really don't want to learn how to cook. She's like, I guess.
上手に作れますですよ。さとこの野菜炒めは大好きなのです。
Stir fry is pretty baller. She was uneasy at first, but once she got the reassurance from Rika-chan, she turned back and looked at me with once more confident eyes.
じゃあ決まりだな。今日学校が終わったらいろいろ買い物に行こうぜ。俺じゃあ何を買えばいいのか全然わかんないし。
それもそうですわね。ケイチさんじゃスーパーでお買い物なんてまだまだ早いでしょうし。
What? He needs to know what the supermarket's like.
私が見てなければ不安ですからね。そのさとこも僕が見てないと間違えたお買い物をしちゃうんじゃないかと不安なのです。
Rika doesn't want the off-brand boxes of cereal, okay? If the Frosted Flakes don't have Tony the Tiger on them, she's not interested.
リカみー
Conversation continued as we walked until we arrived to the door to the teacher's lounge. That's not how you say lounge.
罰ゲー
Okay.
ムなんかちゃっちゃと済ませて 今晩の献立の話でもしようぜ。
Rika-chan gleefully grabbed onto my arm. Alright, I should go back. I turned, I pulled Satoko to me, and grabbed her shoulder with my other hand.
死ぬときゃみんな一緒だぜ。誰も一人でなんか死なせない。
みんなで一緒です。誰も一人でなんか死なせないのです。
Okay, you guys are overreacting. I hope.
不謹慎な話ですがね。私はそんな物騒なのごめんですわよ。
She may have sounded annoyed, but she was so happy it was gonna make me blush.
よし、この扉一枚向こうは死後の世界だぞ。みんなで戻るぞ。みんなでだ。
みんなでですわよ。では行きますわよ。
Sally forth beans. Salam! We opened the doorway to the world of death. And like she did every day, just as the sun rose in the eastern sky, Chi-sensei was eating curry for lunch. It was store-bought, but she made a point of buying a different brand every day.
あら
Yeah, teacher! There she is. His best girl. Hey.
前原君に古出さんに北条さんどうかしましたか
She appeared to be in the middle of a moment of supreme bliss, her mouth full of her beloved curry. And we were about to pick a fight with her. What a crime this punishment game would be. However, it was what we had to do. For that was the rule of our club. The three of us held each other's shoulders tightly once more.
じゃあ行くぜ。
Oh boy.
いいか。
Hey, hog squeezer, talking no
いいかじ
best
ゃあり
girl.
ませんわ。
Definitely don't agree with that one. She creeps me out.
ケイチさんはおとなしくしてるんですのよ。すべて私とリ
Well,
カで
welcome
や
to
り
the
ますから。
stream.
私に今だけ命をお預け遊ばせ。
Ah.
ファイト、おーですよ。
Surely the teacher's already aware that we do these really weird punishment games, so she's probably just gonna... Just leave, please.
あなたたち
We could see 2 or 3 question marks popping up above the teacher's head. Alright, Satoko. This is the only time I'll trust you with my life. Because I'll be shutting my eyes tightly and only thinking about what we'll be having for dinner. This guy can only think about dinner. It's pretty relatable, actually. I'm leaving it to you. Satoko inhaled deeply. And so...
いや、いやーいやーい。カレー独身貴族、ニンニク臭いぞ。
Uh-oh. Satoko. Forget being colorblind. You're about to be just full-on blind. That is... Wow. This was her smoothing it over? You're joking. She's like, oh, if we make fun of her being single, that is not as bad as making fun of Curry. Have a good night, DX, but you might want to stay for the next 2 seconds. That's it? That's it? You know what? That's probably the best way to do the scene. I can't believe that was Satoko smoothing it over. That's nuts. Wow. In the end, my selfish request was readily granted. As Satoko muttered complaints under her breath, quite merrily, she came up to me to the store. Rika-chan did not come up with us. She said she had a thing she wanted to do, or something. I believed her when she told me, but when I really thought about it, I started to think maybe she was being considerate towards Satoko in her own way. Without Rika-chan here, Satoko was prouder and more loquacious than ever.
いいですこと
Ooh, supermarket time. Oh, we should switch over to the third style if we're just with Satoko.
スーパーというものにはタイムサービスというものがあるんですのよ。例えば野菜炒めに欠かせない豚肉ももう少し待つと半額にまで下がるんですの。
Savvy little girl, Satoko. Yes, that is genius.
お肉やお魚は鮮度が下がったら売れませんからね。お店も売れ残さないように土壇場では安くしてくれるってわけなんですのよ。
That's a good quality to have. No, being savvy when it comes to buying stuff. You can take, like, in the right hands, you can take the same amount of money and get way more out of it.
もちろん百戦錬磨の主婦の皆様もそれを熟知していて、こうしてサービスタイムが近づいてくると。
I wasn't really listening to her, but she was telling me all of this quite proudly. Every time I seemed surprised at something or made an affirmative grunt in the place of conversation, Satoko would say, "You don't know anything, do you, Keiichi-san?" and smile very happily in spite of her complaints. She led me by the hand to all sorts of stalls, one after the other. She was in such a supreme mood that just being with her cheered me up. Merely being pulled into Satoko's pace was a lot of fun.
おい、どうせならこっちのお得用パックにしようぜ。
Why don't we just buy wholesale?
お、こっちのチーズ入りにもかなり惹かれるものが。
圭一さんは経済観念が欠落しすぎですわ。
Yep.
ご覧なさいませ。予算オーバー。お金が足りないのですわよ。
Satoko pushed a handful of receipts in my face. Why can't Satoko do these kinds of mental calculations when she's at school?
そう、ノーマルは腹いっぱいたくさん買うか、
School's
ワンラン
more
ク上のチ
theoretical,
ーズ入りを
probably.
つつましく買うか。これはかなり悩む。
おとなしく量を取りなさいませ。年頃の男の方は質より量を取った方が賢明でしたよ。
Yeah.
チェ、サトコは厳しすぎだよ。質も量も両方取りたい。この男心がなぜわからん。
What did she say? You don't have the budget for that.
男心でお財布は膨らみませんのよ。まったく。未練がましくガラスに貼り付かないんですの。
After enjoying ourselves in such an exchange, we started to hear energetic voices coming from over by the butcher we visited earlier. I could see a handful of housewives flooding the place.
いけませんわ。早く行かないと半額豚肉がなくなってしまいますわ。
あいてててててて、引っ張るな。襟首を引っ張るな。
Satoko really seemed like she was having fun. She looked like a kid who had grabbed her family's hands while running towards an amusement park attraction. In the end, the bag of pork we obtained was so normal that it almost hurt, but I knew that it would taste absolutely delicious. I don't know what it is, but Asian restaurants make pork taste really good. Outside, at some points, the cicadas had been replaced by the Higurashi's chorus. Hey, that's the name of the game. The air was so clear and it felt so good. Our silhouettes stretching out into the ground made for a really wonderful picture. We had filled our bicycle baskets to the brim with our shopping bags. They only contained ingredients and various other foodstuffs. Even so, every last thing packed in them sort of looked really happy, and made me feel really happy in return.
夕食の買い物ってのもおつなものだな。晩飯が楽しみになるっていうか、待ち遠しくなるっていうか。
それもまた自炊の楽しみでしたよ。お買い物のうちからもう夕食は始まっているんですもの。
野菜炒めうちのお袋のメニューにはさ、野菜炒めってないんだよ。
Really?
だから中華屋で外食する時くらいにしか食べられないんで、今日は本当に楽しみなんだよ。
それはお気の毒でございますこと。では今日は特別に美味しいのをご披露して差し上げましたよ。
Oh boy. Normally, right about now, was the time I would start messing with her. But I didn't.
ああ、サトコならきっとうまい野菜炒めを作ってくれる。
Again, I like this wholesome friendship a lot better.
すごく楽しみだよ。
She stammered for a second. Satoko had been prepared for me to start making fun of her right then, too. And when it didn't come, she was surprised. Or maybe she stammered for some other reason. I don't know. But I immediately knew she wasn't feeling anything bad.
とびきり美味しいのをごちそうしましたよ。楽しみにして遊ばせ。
As Satoko and I rode back on our bikes, I had a thought. Was I this sort of person? Until now, I would have lashed back at Satoko right away if she did something to me. Yes, that was the kind of relationship we had. We would poke at each other a little, then kick up a storm while nitpicking at one another. At some point, that had changed. We weren't playing our usual tit for tat. I didn't provoke her, so we didn't fight. That went for Satoko too. Satoko, who I thought I knew, hadn't been like this until now. Our relationship was changing little by little. That's what it felt like. But it wasn't something I had to worry about. It was like our relationship had become a little bit happier, a little bit more charming. I wonder why we changed like this. Was she lonely and projecting her older brother Satoshi, who hadn't returned home, onto me? Rika-chan told me about that yesterday. That was probably exactly it. So, as my actions drew closer to Satoshi's, Satoko was returning to how she'd been back when she was living happily with her brother. In other words, this was Satoko was the real Satoko. Satoko had been able to see her brother again, and had finally gone back to normal. Now that I had been playing the role of her brother, I discovered that she really could smile so sweetly. But I wasn't Satoshi Hojo. I was Keiichi Maebara, a totally different person. I couldn't become her brother. Yes, I could come close, but I could never really get there. That was vaguely somehow a little sad. I was wearing Satoshi's mantle, and that would have to come off one day. And that would doubtlessly put an end to this meager, nostalgic, peaceful time of Satoko's. A limited tranquility. A tranquility that would end one day. Putting it in those terms, it really was sad. I shook my head firmly and drove off those pointless thoughts.
どうしましたのケイチさん。
ごめん、なんでもないよ。
なんでもないならそんな変なことしないでくださいませね。何か悪いものでも食べたんじゃないかと不安になってしまいますわ。
へいへい、ごめんよ、サトコ。
Nagging like always, but she still seemed really happy. That mood of hers drew me in, putting a smile on my own face. Hey, Keiichi Maebara, why don't we quit thinking about this having to end one day? If it will, then just think about it when it happens. There was one thing, however, that I could say for sure. As long as I smiled like this, Satoko's own smile would never wane. So long as I stay this way, the tranquility would never end. Satoshi would come back one day too. That might happen a lot further away than I'd like, but until that day, what's wrong with me being a replacement for him? Saying that I'm not a real brother, so I can't become Satoshi, that was just an excuse. If I just didn't run away, Satoko would stay happy and live a fun life of annoyed nitpicking. It seems weird. I don't know what happened to Satoshi, or what made him abandon Satoko and run away, but just seeing Satoko in such a good mood made me think I could persevere as long as I wanted and needed to. So this is what I thought. I wouldn't become Satoshi. I would become a replacement brother. That's kind of weird. Don't recommend that.
そうそう、俺はこういう野菜炒めを期待してたんだよ。うまい、実にうまい。この塩コショウ味のお汁がいいんだよな。
Yeah.
実にご飯が進む。
ほらほらゲイチ
She's like, okay, stop with the
さん
flattery.
こぼしてますわよ。そんなに焦って食べなくてもご飯は逃げませんのよ。
いや、逃げるぞ。出来たてほやほやの最高の味はできた瞬間からどんどん逃げていくんだ。サトコが100美味しく作ったものなら、俺はその100を丸々味わう義務がある。それがクーガーのマナーってもんだ。
They know me. They know I like descriptions of food, and that's why I'm enjoying this chapter.
それはお気持ちだけで十分ですわ。ですからもっと落ち着いてご飯をお食べなさいませ。
そうだな。悪い悪い。
No insults here. I meekly scratched my head and then put down my chopsticks and laughed along with her like it was funny. I ended up doing most of the eating. You are a guy, and you're a couple years older. Satoko was barely taking a bite. She seemed satisfied just by watching me enjoy the food so much. Whenever I filled my mouth with more of her delicious meal, Satoko looked glad. That let me enjoy the food even more. In this way, she kept smiling happily the whole time. Looking at her really made me happy as well. The time passed softly and gently. Before I would have gone back and forth hurling insults of Satoko. In other words, we would have gotten into a fight right away. I'd never even known I could feel such a peace of mind by talking to her honestly like this. I was a little bit happy about having discovered this new side of Satoko. For example, I was eating food that Satoko had made. There wasn't an inch of me that thought it was suspicious. Before, however, Satoko would have definitely put some sort of a trap into this.
がっつきすぎた。ちょっとトイレに行ってくるぞ。
Yeah,
ちょっとゲ
TMI.
イチさん、お食事の最中におトイレに行くのはマナー違反ですわよ。
Yeah.
じゃあなんて言えばいいんだ？接近か？川屋か？お便所か？
Satoko looked down, her face bright red, and pointed down the hallway as if to say, just go already. Whoops, my old habits seem to have come back. I somehow ended up at the refrigerator. Guess I better eat more food. But, yeah. This wasn't all that bad either. No weird schemes. Everything is just natural. The toilet better not be in the kitchen, because that's weird. And while having such utterly unguarded thoughts, I went into the bathroom. Oh, it's just en route. My foot caught on something string-like. Huh?
やかん？たらい？さとこー！
She got me. I can't believe her. She always does this when I let my guard down. I can't relax for a minute around her. Still, it was kind of funny, and I didn't really feel like getting angry. You just screamed, Satoko! Satoko, laughing uproariously, came over.
ほらねほらね、そろそろ引っかかってくれる頃だと思いましたわ。
まったくこいつはちょっと気を許すとこれだもんな。
This is the thanks I get. I picked up the wash tubs that had crashed into my head and went to go hit Satoko with it. But then I doubled back over with laughter that had been welling up within me, and so I couldn't manage it. I wish things could go on forever like this. It's not like I was having the most fun since coming to Hinamizawa or anything, but it was probably the first time that I'd spent my day so simply and comfortably. It really wasn't worth much, it was only a few hours after all. As an only child, it was my first taste of having a sibling. Just washing dishes with her felt really nice. Side by side, we washed, with the experienced Satoko doing most of the work, as I threw in inappropriate words to add to the conversation. The scene was so commonplace, and yet so mild and warm. Maybe I had felt this kind of warmth before too in the past. I think I've stood next to the sink with my mother like this when I was little. It made me feel nostalgic when I remembered it. It was the same sort of slow, easy time. It was tranquil. Such a quiet tranquility that the fact that I wasn't uneasy about anything itself almost made me uneasy. Hey, wait, Keiichi Maibara. You feel uneasy about something just from spending time so leisurely? There's nothing at all to feel uneasy about. I mean, why would I be punished for enjoying a gentle life? It's a horror game, that's why. I'd do anything to keep these days going, and I would never do anything bad, no matter what. Uh-huh. I work hard for it and endure much for it. So God, it's not much of a dream to want this kind of thing to keep going, but can't you grant it?
あら、あれは電話の音ではありませんの？こんな夜更けに誰でございましょう。
Maybe it's Dad.
あ、本当だ。
I hadn't noticed until she mentioned it. I hurried to stand up and then ran to the phone. Who could it be at a time like this? I did feel a little like the phone had interrupted my happy moment, but I still wanted to brag about how happy the time I was spending made me, no matter who it was on the other side.
もしもし。はい、前原です。
It better not be Shion going crazy again.
もしもし、
It's Mom!
ケイチ、お母さんだけど。
あ、なんだ、母さんか。何？こんな時間に。
That was a little cold of me, when she was only calling because she was worried about her son. I couldn't help but give myself a dry smile.
その様子だと特にトラブルもなく生活できてるみたいね。母さん、ケイチがご飯を作れなくてひもじくて寝込んでるんじゃないかと心配してたわ。
No, that's okay. I got this middle school girl to come over and make food for me. Keiichi, are you kidding me?
まあね。なんとかおかげで。
ご飯はちゃんと作れてる？
Funny you should mention that. By the way, Mom, do we have fire insurance on the house? Why?
今夜は何を食べたの？
へへ、野菜炒めとご飯と味噌汁だよ。スーパーでいろいろとお惣菜を買ったから何気におかずも豊富でさ。
Keiji, we don't have that in the budget.
そうそう、聞いてよ。豚肉なんかちゃんとタイムサービスを利用して
You
半額で買ったんだ。
got it.
へへ、主婦の知恵っていうのかな。
Keiichi's not mentioning the fact that it was actually a middle school girl who did this.
それから。
All of that was thanks to Satoko and not something I should be proud of. But still, I couldn't help but want to boast about the dinner tonight. It seemed like Mom got the hint that I was in a really good mood.
そう、しっかりやれていて母さん本当に安心したわ。そうそう、それでね、お父さんとお母さんの仕事がなんとか終わっ、明日の昼か夜には帰れると思うから。
ああ、そうなんだ。
二晩よく頑張ったわね。こっちも二晩ほとんど徹夜でね。
Dane, Mom and Dad need to sleep.
大変だったけど、なんとか先生のイベントは穴を開けずに済みそうよ。
うん、よかったね。お疲れ。
Why did my parents coming home seem so disappointing? I knew a little bit of the reason, of course. This tranquility I never wanted to end was about to end so readily, and it was a little painful. After being asked what kind of souvenir I wanted from Tokyo and replying that anything edible would be great, I put down the receiver. As Satoko appeared having finished cleaning up her trap, Keiichi and I are sometimes kindred spirits. At first, Satoko was in a very good mood, but then she saw me put down the receiver with an uncertain expression, and her own clouded over a bit. It seemed like she'd gotten the gist of what my phone conversation had been about.
ケイチさんのご両親からですの？
ああ、明日には帰ってくるってさ。
あら、それは良かったですわね。 明日のお夕食の面倒はもう見なくていいわけでございますものね。
I mean, my mom and dad pulled all-nighters, so if you wanted to make them dinner too, that would be great.
家族で水入らずの食卓を囲みなさいませ。
そんなことないよ。また明日から無味乾燥な食卓かと思うとなんだか寂しいよ。
何を贅沢言ってますの。家族みんなで囲む食卓が一番楽しいに決まってますわ。
Her brother Satoshi running away from home came to mind immediately, but there was no gloom in the way she said it.
私も昨日今日と2日間でしたけど、とても楽しいお夕食を取らせていただきましたわ。
ならさ、今度は俺から聡子の家に遊びに行くよ。
Satoko momentarily made a happy smile, but then a second later it changed to an expression of surprise.
うちは狭くて汚いですわよ。
That's okay, I can clean it.
お台所もこんなに立派ではありませんし。
俺は別に気にしないぜ。でも聡子が嫌なら遠慮してもいいよ。
Satoko shook her head firmly, her whole body expressing denial.
それに俺、聡子にはまだまだいろいろと教えてもらわないとな。ようやく炊飯器の使い方と味噌汁の作り方を覚えた程度だし。
それもそうですわね。これを機会に圭一さんにお料理をお勉強してもらうのもいいかもしれませんわね。
It was so like Satoko to take this chance to proclaim that it was all for my sake. But there was no way to conceal her own enthusiasm. It was true that this gentle time would come to an end when my parents got back. There was no need to lament that, though. I can easily put in the effort to continue our mild moments like this. Like yesterday, Satoko told me that she didn't need to be escorted home. But Rika-chan wasn't with her tonight. She would be going home by herself. Everyone knew everyone else's face here in Hinamizawa. So it wasn't like it was dangerous to go out at night, but it still wasn't good to send a girl on her way all alone. At the very least, that's what I thought as Satoko's older brother.
じゃあ学校の近くまで送ってやるよ。あそこまで行けば結構街灯とかあるから大丈夫だろ。
本当に大丈夫なんですのよ。
I like the lighting that they do on it. That's really nice. That's a nice touch.
悪い人が現れても指一本で撃退してみせますわ。
That's not how that works, Satoko. There was no point in pressing her anymore on the subject, so I took a handful of Satoko's hair and rubbed her head vigorously.
聡子、ごちゃごちゃ言うな。
Your Nini will bring you part of the way there. That's what I was about to say when I suddenly got embarrassed and my voice trailed off. Nini could only be the nickname Satoko gave to her older brother, and nothing else. I was about to use it pretty lightly, so I started to feel apologetic and a little ashamed.
ニーニー。
Eh? What did Satoko just say?
圭一さんが兄みたいに見えただけですわ。その今の言い方全然違うけど、どこか雰囲気が似てましたもので、つい。
I get what they're trying to do here. They're trying to make it this like wholesome, like, hey, he's kind of taking on this older brother role. But also, to me, it seems weird because like she didn't really ask him to do this, and this is only like already happened over the course of 2 days. So it still seems very weird and pretty rushed. But like, I get what they're trying to do. Satoko laughed awkwardly and turned red in the face. Of course, I was embarrassed when I saw her too, because the fact that I was trying to act like her brother had gotten across. A warm feeling spread out from my chest. It was completely different from romantic feelings, or any of those more impatient emotions. It was much more graceful, quiet, and warm, and calm. Satoko still needed her Nini. I had initially thought Rika-chan was being sly by not coming today, but when I thought about it like this, I could feel a kind of thoughtfulness of her worrying about a good friend's feelings. Maybe Rika-chan had understood that she couldn't play the part of a brother herself. So then... No, let's stop there, Keiichi Maibara. There's no point in thinking about it so hard. It means everyone feels the same way. It means everyone wants Satoko to be happy. Satoko's acting as though her Nini running away from home didn't bother her at all, even though that wasn't actually the case. She was very sad, and always waiting for him to come home. Because Satoko was a stable person when she was his sister. In order for her to really be this level-headed, having a brother was something she couldn't do without. In other words, Satoko still needed a brother. Nobody had the right to smile it away as childish immaturity. In fact, they deserved praise for being so close to each other as siblings. That role of brothers should be played by her real Nini, by Satoshi, but unfortunately he wasn't here. So since I'm here, I'll play the part. And not with a guilty conscience, but in a very natural way. Because... was there something wrong with seeing Satoko smile so happily?
なんですの圭一さん。さっきからずーっとニヤニヤしてますのね。
俺が嬉しそうな顔をしてるとおかしいかな。
別におかしくはありませんけど、その。
The sound of the motor on her bike light was too loud and I couldn't hear what Satoko said. She has a motor on her bike? Dane.
え、何？なんて言った？
いえ、本当にどこまでもニーニーに似てますのね。
I need a baseball bat.
圭一さん。
そっか？
もちろん本当のニーニーとは全然違うんですけども、こういろいろそういうところが似てますの。本当に不思議ですわね。
似ているとニーニーを思い出して寂しくなるか？
Once I said that, I thought for a moment that it was absolutely the wrong thing to say, but Satoko didn't seem to mind one bit.
別に寂しくなんかありませんわ。こうして圭一さんがニーニーの代わりになってくれますしね。その。
As I was flustered for a moment at her hitting the mark, Satoko suddenly asked me a question in a calm voice. It was a very quiet, composed, and adult question.
リカですの？
It was quiet, but her voice sounded lonely somehow.
リカがニーニーの代わりになってくれって圭一さんにお願いしたんじゃありませんの？
そう思うのか？
気を悪くしないでくださいま
She's
せ
like,
ね。
I heard you guys were talking about it in the living room. The kitchen is right there.
リカって私には変に気を使うんですの。私はそんなに気にしていないのに。
I could say for sure that, at least, was a lie. Yesterday and today, Satoko had been so happy spending time like this with me as siblings. And that was proof itself that she was lying about it not getting to her. So I gave Satoko a light poke in the head.
考えすぎだよ、バカ。俺は俺、前原圭一だ。お前のニーニーの北条聡じゃない。
そんなのは分かってますわ。
Despite her saying that, her expression seemed a little lonesome. At this point, Satoko herself had realized that her question had been the wrong thing to say. We didn't need to keep talking about something that Satoko regretted. So in order to cut that conversation short, I grabbed Satoko's head and pet her.
そんなくだらない話はもういいだろう。もう遅いから、とっとと帰って歯を磨いて寝ろ。ついでだから寝る前にうがいもしとけ。風邪の予防になっていいぞ。
That what is
そ
not
れを言ったら
how
ニー
that
ニーもです
works.
わよ。ちゃんと歯を磨くんですのよ。うがいもしてお手洗いも済ませて明日の教科書を準備してそれから。
I wondered what kind of siblings Satoko and Satoshi were. I'd never seen them together, but I could say without a doubt that they were really close. As for the way in which they were close, it was probably quite like this. It was so cool that the day's heat seemed like a lie, and yet the moonlight was somehow faintly warm. The quiet chorus of the insects was pleasing to the ears. The cry of the Higurashi. New tips unlocked. Satoko's trap course intermediate. Trials and tribulations. A clear conscience wins the day. Hey, that's a great game, by the way. Let's look at the intermediate course. I could see Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun walking over to the gym storehouse. They needed to get the bag of lime used to make the lines on the court for our next gym class. They were on duty today, after all. But in that storehouse, a terrible trap was awaiting them.
トラップって仕掛けた側から見ると本当にハラハラするな。
圭一さんにもその醍醐味がわかるなら素質がありましたよ。
The two of them fumbled around the gym storehouse's lock. Oh? What's this? Okamura-kun pointed at part of the door and started whispering to Tomita-kun. And then, realizing something, they both jumped away from the door.
お、サトコ、バレたみたいだぞ。失敗か？
あの二人が入り口のトラップに気づくのは計算済みですわ。そして次にどういう行動に出るかももちろん計算済みですのよ。
Alright. According to Satoko, after they noticed the suspicious trap on the door, they would go around and try to get through the back window. And just as she'd prophesied, they went around to the back. And just as she'd prophesied, they climbed up, opened the window, and tried to sneak in.
お、すげえ。サトコの読み通りだぞ。あ、かかった。
Did she set up a bomb? An explosion of pure white lime burst out the window. After a few moments, the two of them managed to crawl away from the window, both of them completely white.
この瞬間がたまりませんわね。蜜の味でございましてよ。
いや、しかしよくかかったよな。あんな器用なトラップ。富田君が窓を登るときどこに手を置いてどこに足を置くかとかどこへ飛び降りるとかそういうのを全部読まなくちゃ絶対にかからないぞ。
いいですことケイチさん。トラップの第一歩は相手の観察から始まりますのよ。相手の行動パターンを読み、相手ならこの時こう動くというのを綿密に読み切るんですの。そうすれば必要最低限の仕掛けで最大の効果が狙えるトラップが仕掛けられますのよ。
Okay, I believe you. Come to think of it, before Satoko read the final move at the final moment earlier, Mion had given her high praise, saying she had the makings of a genius.
トラップは読みが全てってわけか。じゃあつまり過去に俺が引っかかってきたトラップもみんな俺が読まれてるから引っかかってたってわけか。
ええ、私なりにケイチさんの行動パターンを読み切っているからかかるんですわよ。だからケイチさんがある日突然いつもと違う癖やいつもと違うパターンになってしまったらかからなくなってしまうわけですわね。
Bragging that she could anticipate everything I'd do. That was kind of mean.
よーし、じゃあさ、なんかゲームをやってみろ。サトコの読みが当たるかどうか試してみろよ。
ええ、いいですわよ。ケイチさんは特に読みやすいですから朝飯前で
Oh, we'll
して
see
よ。
about that. When we went back to the classroom, Satoko tore off pieces of paper and wrote something on the back of them, making 3 cards. Of course, I didn't know what she'd written.
この中の1枚を引いてごらんなさいませ。外れを引かなければケイチさんの勝ちですわ。
They all say you're a loser.
よーし、挑戦してやるぜ。部活で鍛え上げられた俺の感性で見事打ち破ってくれる。
Satoko smirks and holds out the 3 cards. Set your mind to full power by calming it, Keiichi Maibara. Cool and collected is how you'll win. If I don't pick the losing one, I'll win. Which means if I do pick it, Satoko will win. In other words, Satoko wants me to pick the losing one. What would she do to make sure I pick the losing one? Could she even predict something like that? Statistically speaking, there isn't some rule that says that I'm more likely to pick the one in the middle or the ones on either side. And then, it hits me like a flash. This is what Mion would do.
さあ、どれを取るか決まりまして。
決めたぜ。それはな、これだ
ー！何をするでございますの？
I steal all 3 cards from Satoko's hands. I predicted what Satoko would do in advance. Satoko wanted to make sure I picked the losing one, which meant that all 3 of these were losing ones.
そ
Yep.
ういうわけだ。この3枚改めさせてもらうぜ。
I flip all 3 cards face up, and on each one there's a single word. You're a loser.
なんだこりゃ。はず
She
で
predicted we would pick all 3.
外れ。
つまりはそういうこと。1枚しか取らなかったなら外れにはならなかったということですわ。
That's pretty good.
え
Duh! Whoops. To be fair, if we had also picked the one that said loser, she probably would have been like, that counts! I held my head in my hands and fainted as Satoko reveled in the might of her abilities. Her shrill laughter echoed across the classroom. And then there was the proof as lime powder came upon Satoko's head. I looked to see Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun all in white dumping a whole bag of lime powder on her, getting their revenge. What the heck is lime powder? Like powdered limes?
わい、 いきなり何をなさいますのですか、お二人とも。
Revenge.
どうやら誰が罠を仕掛けたのかは問答無用ってところだな。
失礼でございますわね。どこに証拠がございますの？それに罠なんて品のない言い方をやめてほしいですわね。より優雅にトラップと呼んでほしいですわ。
I don't know if trap is more refined. That being said, these two pretending to be tough. Not only that, but standing still, completely blank and silent. But anyway, ignoring what happened before, having someone chase you with their mouth full of lime in such a way that they can't even speak, yeah, that would be too scary even for Satoko.
ケイチさん、助けて。
Our underclassmen crashed around the classroom in furious combat, getting white lime everywhere. Hey, Satoko? Why couldn't you see this coming exactly? At the time, I hadn't seen something coming too, though the teacher coming to me afterward and giving us all a stern talking to. Well, I mean, that's understandable. Oh. Well, folks, I do believe that is going to be it for tonight's stream. We're off to a good start. Chapter 3 seems pretty enjoyable thus far. I'm very much enjoying this new side of Satoko. We'll be continuing this starting next week on Sunday. The rest of the month, which should hopefully be Sunday streams for Higurashi, and we'll be continuing our Sacred Stones Iron Man on Wednesday of this week. So hope you guys tune in for that. Otherwise, I wish you a fantastic rest of your night, and God bless everybody.